Okay. Okay. Let's see if my microphone will work today. Hopefully. Give me a second here. Nope. Okay, that's working. Put that over there. Check on the chat here. Hello, Oliver, welcome in. I'm doing pretty good. Phil, hello, Nord, welcome. How's it? Can everybody hear me? I hope everybody can hear me. Seems like my mic is working, but it's been real weird. Hold on a second. Like the cable is all kinds of screwed up for some reason. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna put it right there. Hopefully that's not too quiet or too loud. That'll be okay. Pop out the chat here. Pop it out. Put that over there. Okay, good. Thank you, Oliver. Yeah, today's doing pretty good. I have a lot of work to do today, and that's fine. We have some great suggestions today. A weird, slow start, but that's all right. Where did my list go? I've lost the list. Hold on a second. YouTube's being slow today. That's alright. Rude, welcome. You do sound a little different. See if we can get the Discord audio.
You will probably also hear my keyboard.
I don't hear the keyboard. That's good.
Well, I'm not typing right now.
Alright.
That's fine.
Oh boy. We have 25 today.
Cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sorry, but how are you doing today, Druid?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm still riding an endorphin high from my morning workout, so that's always nice. But my back is extremely tired and is not happy about my crappy office chair.
Man, finding a good office chair is always a tough thing.
Oh, it's so hard.
I used to, when I lived near the university, we just go to the university surplus, and you get a nice office chair for like $5. But I now have like 3 old office chairs from the university, and they're all broken. So,
yeah.
we got the list up now. There we go. Big Cat is running around, losing his mind. Let's get to YouTube. Oh, we're on the YouTube already. Okay. Where is that? I know we're on YouTube. I just on the Aggie. I'm gonna start warming up there.
Hey Bionic, yeah, I sound different because I set up a new mic that I've been meaning to use for the past year, and also I have allergies, so there's a lot of phlegm in my throat.
Same. 1 second, Scoop Cat's yelling, I'll be right back.
And
then Art!
Yay, Art! Hey, Oliver, congratulations. Graduation is a big deal. Hey, Nord. Bionic, what is art? You gotta... You got to read Leo Tolstoy's treatise on the matter. It's apparently, according to him, it is Christian folk dance music and imagery.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Here we go. Let's draw rugby. Get warmed up with rugby today. I got a certificate and all. Nice. Graduated from the Scholars Program today. That's amazing. Congratulations. What is art? I am art. Oh no. What is art indeed? What color should we use today? Should I put up a poll? To figure out what color of pen we use today. It is May, so I should probably do a mermaid rugby.
Oh damn! It is mermaid.
Program was on the philosophy of history. Didn't think that would be very interesting, but turned out very interesting. Nice.
Yeah, I think philosophy tends to make things pretty interesting, which is nice, but also can be a little bit mind-bendy and not always.
Yeah.
Not always good or about truth.
I need to do mermaids all month. I forgot on the first. And then, so yesterday I did a mermaid and I was like, I was going to share it today. And I was like, this isn't great. Like, I don't know what happened. So, I think I've gotten lazy with my daily sketches.
Not lazier than me. I don't do them.
That's fair.
I should, but I have not been.
Hello.
Hey.
Man.
Dude, did you get a new mic?
I did.
Okay, you sound very different.
Yep, I got a blue snowball.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I had one of those for quite a while. All through college. Can't remember why I upgraded. Oh, because Jump Rope and I are always like 10 feet apart. 5 feet
Yeah.
apart. And so like
So
the snowball
the
picks
snowball picked up too much, yeah.
up. It's almost too sensitive. But it works great for pretty much everything else. Are you drawing Drake? Am I? I don't get it. Like the singer? Or like a Drake?
I'm drawing a bridal veil stinkhorn mushroom based myconid.
Yeah. My iPhone picks up me when I'm halfway down the hallway. Yeah. There's some really funny stuff. One of my friends, like, you could never hear him at all, but I could hear him whenever he left the room. And I was like, man, there's something wrong with your mic. He's like, no, it's this. He thought it was the snowball. He's like, the snowball's just a piece of shit. I'm like, no, it's something's weird. He set up the microphone and for a month just used his like lapel mic that was also plugged into the computer and pointed at it was like on the floor. And I was like, man. As soon as he switched it over, it was amazingly better. So
That's hilarious.
How do you draw fish lips?
Depends on the fish.
I was doing a little YouTube digging, just like random shit on the internet. And I came across,
as you do,
yeah. And I came across a video on like fish parasites, and it's just like, ugh, I don't want to be here. Lauren, I don't think that's quite appropriate for the channel. I would appreciate not listing the worst GMs. Keep it positive. Give me the 10 best as a compromise. Whoa. Whoa, Steve Cat, you alright? Time for your shot again? Is that what's going on? Your butt hurt? Sorry.
Oh, poor baby. I know
Also,
what that chronic pain was like. No, go ahead. I'm done.
I was gonna say, Les being, we don't talk about Modrons. We kind of universally hate them here.
What's your favorite Modron? That's right. I think Beanbender was the one that suggested a lot of them. I think we've drawn quite a few Modrons. Beanbender, if you weren't the one that suggested them.
I haven't seen them suggested in a while.
Yeah. It might have been because we started trash talking him so much, which I apologize for. My favorite type of Modron is the Modron not take. I honestly didn't know there were multiple types. Like, you got round and you got square. In my mind. Maybe triangle? You could do like a pyramid one, I guess.
Isn't that just Bill Cipher, though?
That's true. There you go. Bill Cipher's my favorite Modron. Oh, you made it, Steve Cat. Here you go. You can have your bed back.
They just have like too much like uncanny valley stuff going on in them.
It's like the Cube movie, or not the Cube. The Cube is a weird movie. I was thinking of
Sphere?
No.
Roly poly oly.
It's a lot of body parts stuffed in a box. With the Cenobites. We were talking about them yesterday and made me think of that.
Right, Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, yeah. It's a little too Hellraiser-y for me.
Yep.
Yeah. They are life.
Modrons are extraplanar creatures from Mechanicus, and they're just kind of douchebags.
That might be a...
I hate lawful neutral creatures. They are unpleasant beings.
I can't argue with that. I like these opinions do not reflect the Corvus's opinions do not reflect the views and opinions of the Rookzer0. What is up with this? Oh, weird. Okay. Hey, my eyeball's doing better.
Nice. That's good to hear.
It's not great, but I can see what Druid's drawing, so that's nice.
My dad just had cataract surgery. He's not supposed to be doing anything, and now he's going. He's at my brother's house helping, doing some framing. And then my mother is mad at him.
You're gonna get him in trouble. We'll strike that from the record in case your insurance company is watching.
Okay, unless they're paying Google for my information, I didn't give any names.
That's true. Oh, the horror of being famous. How's this rugby look? It looks like a fish just swam up Rugby's butt, and I don't know if that's good.
And the eyes definitely do not help.
Yeah. The eyes do kind of convey that.
Now it looks like a fish ate Rugby, and he's just... Also, can we appreciate caster players who know their spells? 10 out of 10 love them. Nice. Yeah. I love spreadsheets when it comes to spells. It's like, here's my spell list, here's my prepared spells, and here's what they all do, hyperlinked to their spell page. Which I guess like D&D Beyond just does that for you, but I've been doing it my way for like 10 years, so.
Yeah. Who uses D&D Beyond anymore? After never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Let's not reopen this can of worms.
I literally had to
You
turn
all
my
know what
father
I'm
to the
talking
couch and
about.
make him play video games after his hernia surgery. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So
I had a neighbor who he had this was years ago, but he had a head injury because he was cutting wood, I think, with his brother, and one of the trees they were cutting fell on him. It wasn't like a big tree. It was like scrub oak, so it wasn't terrible.
Trees
but
are dense.
Trees are dense, and it was a living tree, so it was full of water. Anyway, long story short, he had a pretty bad concussion, and the doctor did actually tell him that he recommended he play video games in order to help, like, basically therapy for his brain. So video games are pretty cool. They can do a lot of things to help you. I learned fairly recently that apparently playing Tetris works the muscles in your eyes
Makes sense
in such a way that it is considered physical therapy for lazy eye.
Oh, cool.
And can fix
actually,
it.
yeah, I've heard that. When I was a kid, lots of people were saying stuff like that. Like, oh, if a kid is lazy, I could make him play video games. And now it's like, make your kids stop playing video games. That's crazy.
Because we sit too close to the TVs or computer screens.
I learned a cool thing about that, which maybe people don't care about, but Science, yeah. For a long time, people were thinking that sitting too close to screens is what caused nearsightedness.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out nearsightedness is more oftenly caused by a lack of sunlight, like from getting vitamin D, I think, in your eyes at a younger age. They did a study from looking at how many people in China were starting to get nearsightedness, larger than the rest of the world. And they're like, what's causing this? And they're thinking it's caused by the amount of time that they're in schools. And so they instituted basically a recess period where they had to go outside every day, and it solved it. Like it changed the numbers back to the normal level of nearsightedness. So
interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So it's less that people that are constantly reading things up close and video games causes nearsightedness. It's just those people are more likely to be inside more. So when you're a kid, go outside.
Yeah. You need the vitamin D also so you don't get rickets.
Yep. Turns out kids' eyeballs are just naturally a little nearsighted, and they develop based on how much light you get. Which I love that, because there's a lot of little things like that in science about, like, I want to say, like, input development. Like, the more you get of something, it actually builds up to a level of normality.
Yeah.
Like fish eggs. Fish need so many hours of a certain temperature before they hatch, which I think is really cool. And so you can, like, delay their hatching and stuff by just staving off heat. Kind of cool.
Yeah, or let's see. I think it's crayfish. It's either crayfish or shrimps. The nerve that triggers basically a fertility cycle runs. It literally runs through their left eye, so you can if they get and like it's triggered by the amount of their fertility cycles are triggered by the lessening of sunlight in the fall.
Okay.
So you can basically rapid farm. I do think it's crayfish. You can basically get crayfish to be constantly in breed mode if you cut off their left eye.
How weird.
Yeah, it is very weird, but yeah, like it's kind of wild the way.
Science is weird. Nature is weird, I guess.
Science is weird.
Let's catch up here.
Biology specifically is weird.
Thoughts on the Arizona water crisis? I actually don't know what's going on in Arizona. Are you talking about the river? Because I don't have anything to say about that specifically because I'm not well enough versed in it, so I don't have many thoughts on it. Water crises are always scary and sucky, so I hope people there are being safe and rationing their water appropriately. Also, did you know carrots do help make sure you don't go blind, but don't give you great vision? Yes, I did know that. Having enough vitamins is very important. Having too many vitamins can be detrimental, but usually not. And having not enough is usually very bad. So,
yeah.
Stop with your carrot. Okay, so hey, it is Wednesday. It is viewer suggestion. And the way this works is I've collected all of the viewer suggestions throughout the week from Monday. I have them on a big list. I'm going to roll a die, and whatever the god dice decide, whatever the dice gods decide, I'm going to draw today is what we're going to draw today. So it looks like our poll is leaning towards a blue, so I'm going to switch to a blue. And Nora's going to go play Destiny 2. So we'll get to rolling some dice. We'll start drawing some stuff. Here we go. A 10. Half-orc warlock with a sword made of blood. With an eye tattoo on her abs. All right, sure. I dig it. Made a homebrewed kraken and ended up with a giant squid-like creature with lava and magma. Interesting.
Magma krakens.
Try caramelized carrot cake. Hey, yep. Why caramelized? Does that do something special? Is that different than normal carrot cake?
Yes.
Interesting.
I don't know. It sounds to me like just making carrot cake, but with brown sugar.
Yeah.
Like you get a very similar flavor. Although I suppose brown sugar leans more towards butterscotch, but
no. These ladies at the church used to always make hobo cake. Is that what they called it?
Hobo cake?
Yeah. So they would. It's essentially like a coffee carrot cake, but they would cook it in like an old coffee can.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was very caramelized because it is. It's like lots of brown sugar and coffee and something else, and it's very, very sweet. I guess it's more of like a coffee cake, but
Kind of sounds like Boston brown bread where it's cooked in a can.
yeah, that might be what it was. But the ladies in the church called it hobo cake.
I just I mean, it is decidedly more cake-like than actual bread.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the same with zucchini bread and pumpkin bread and banana bread, and like saying something is bread does not mean that it's not cake.
Yeah.
Cough,
Though
Subway.
Especially, this is especially true in America.
Well, with Boston brown bread, it was, when I say it's more like cake, texture-wise, it's more like cake. It's not like very sweet at all.
Right. Well, I mean, most quick breads kind of have a cakey texture.
Yeah.
Because they're designed not only to not use yeast leavening that has to sit, but also like to not be mixed very much. So I mean, pancakes are the same sort of thing. Although, I think in America is the only place that has pancakes that actually resemble cake more than a flatbread.
Not like a crepe or anything, which
I
think has more sugar content, but less leavening.
For serving, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
like, crepes are just dense eggs.
Complicated.
The thing is, crepes are eggs and sugar, where
Like,
And a
pancakes
little bit
are
of flour.
where they're mostly flour and leavening agent. So a little different. They're sweeter taste more. Do you guys cook anything? I'm not very good at cooking in general, but there are a few things that I make really well. I make damn good flapjacks. That's good to hear. I was a cook for 10 years. So I cook many of things, and I'm getting back into cooking now that I have essentially eaten so many chicken nuggets that my eye exploded. Which I'm a little worried. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow to like check up on everything, but the new medication I'm on my heart blood pressure was like 100 over 70, and I'm like, that feels low. It feels low to where it was. So I'm gonna have to talk to him about that.
So
I was not a cook, but I was a really annoying foodie in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. So I was gonna say, sorry. I was trying to make that sound like you were a foodie yesterday, a snobby foodie yesterday.
I mean, look, I'm not saying there isn't some carryover. I'm just saying there's less that I can eat now because of my health issues, and so I am a little bit less. I'm not going to say elitist, but I do less cooking now than I did then.
Also,
my joke failed, but yes, good. I'm glad you. I agree.
Also, Oliver, when you mean flapjack, do you mean like the UK's version of flapjacks, or what we call flapjacks?
Wait, you lost your eye? No, I basically went mostly blind last month on my right eye because it filled with blood. I had a macroaneurysm. They think caused by stress and high blood pressure. So I've been working on getting my blood pressure down for the last 3 months, and and I think I'm doing better, doing much better.
See, I kind of picture you having like anime blood eyes.
Nope.
During that time.
Nope. I looked perfectly normal. All the blood was on the inside. That's what everyone I've talked to has said. They're like, "Oh yeah, like so your eye's all red." I'm like, "Nope, my eye's not red. The inside of my eyeball."
Didn't even get a Sharingan? That's so it's not worth it.
Yeah.
You have like normal vision. Like everything out here is kind of it's like your peripheral. And my vision looked like this. So I could still see things out of like the corner of my eye, but there's just a big blood pool right in the center of my vision. And over the last 3 months, it's been slowly doing this. My vision is now, after 3 months, somewhere like that. So there's still some stuff in there, but I can start seeing stuff again, which is good. Outward-wise, though, look totally fine. Nothing's wrong. It was really, really spooky. Sorry. That's my health update. It would have been much cooler if I had gotten the Shrinkin, though.
Yep.
It would have been the perfect time to do a face reveal and get super internet famous.
Yeah.
I'm Rookzer0. I do character art, and I'm from Naruto.
There were a handful of times because I kept having to like hyper dilate my eye to look inside of it. So I have a handful of pictures of me with like one eye looking normal and the other eye just like rugbyed out.
I think rugby just became my new favorite verb.
Yeah. Flapjack is another name for pancakes here. Yeah. Pukes. How much did I miss? Not a lot, Lizard. Just hanging out.
Yeah. Just drawing. I'm, as usual, spending too much time on my opening mic and Ed.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I've been talking about doing a face reveal at like 10K, which we're actually chugging along for. My last YouTube short actually netted a negative subscriber, so I was like, I gotta do better about that. But the one before that got me like 20. So we'll see what happens.
wait, the all goblins are the same video?
Yeah.
Lost your subscriber?
Somebody just unsubscribed. They're like, nope, I'm not into it. I'm not here
all
for
goblins are all goblins are the same. That's racist. Unsubscribe.
I kind of wonder if that's what it was. But I mean, there wasn't a lot of content. That was really more of a joke. Short anyways, so.
I remember when you were a small baby YouTuber.
What's that?
What Bionic said.
Small baby, yeah. So do I. It's surprising how... I feel like I'm yelling for some reason. Sorry about that. It's surprising how little difference there is between when I had like 2,000 subscribers and now at 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I feel like there probably doesn't become like a big difference for most people until you hit like around 1 million.
Yeah, probably. Definitely, I think my videos have improved a lot. Except for that
I
one
agree
short.
with that. I liked that short.
Oh, good. Okay. As long as people actually enjoyed it, I'm happy. I wanted to make a joke about goblins being different sizes of food.
I was surprised you didn't bring up the Barghast.
I wanted to. I ran out of space, and I was just like,
yeah,
because I had a Barghast joke I was going to put in there, but I was at like 55 seconds, and I was like,
Part 2.
Part 2. I also didn't have a picture that I'd drawn of a Barghast. That was the other
right.
reason I cut it.
Quick,
Quick,
suggest
yes.
Suggest the Barghast.
I had a lot of fun with the Barghast encounter you ran.
I really liked it. I'm gonna run that again this next week after that maybe. To introduce some people to Pathfinder. So
Nice.
I think that's a nice, sweet little. Honestly, what I was planning on doing was taking that campaign idea, little goblin trying to find a lost library book, and turning that into a short of like 60-second game ideas or campaign ideas, one-shot campaign ideas. I'm still working out the logistics of that. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
I mean, how could I not? I don't get to play a character that's not an NPC in our game very often.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's much easier to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition when you're not the GM.
Yeah. I was reading
Well, I
through
thought it was terrible.
What?
I said, well, I thought your little mission was terrible. I'm kidding, of course.
Well, you can go find another table then.
Fun.
Not my fault you had to walk in the dark. That was probably the first time we've ever had a party that just had no dark vision. And I was like,
I know, yeah.
Oops.
That was very funny, actually. I was like, oh well.
Let's start on the laps, please.
It's a lot of Mike Nid love over here, isn't there? Yeah, Druid is, I think, one of the pro Mike Nid artists on the internet right now.
I'm getting there. I certainly draw enough of them. They've been, I've had a lot of fun with them. I've got well over 100 at this point. I might switch over to doing more female figures. Like Nid's kind of like this one has become. Or I might switch to Veggie Pygmies or something else. But plant monsters are fun. I might try developing treants. But
really cool.
treants would be really cool. I'm finding that choosing a creature to do as a warm-up is actually it's a really good way for me to start iterating and figuring out how I want to design a class of creature.
Make a pretty decent quesadilla. I managed to put bacon in one, and good lord, my blood felt like motor oil after that one. I'm going to counteract your first statement by saying you put bacon in a quesadilla. That's no longer a quesadilla, that's a breakfast burrito. But no, that actually does sound pretty good.
It does.
Flat breakfast burrito.
Yeah, flat breakfast. The quesadilla is just a burrito that you haven't rolled up yet. I want an official plant race though, like Trents or Moss people or something. Yeah, I mean the Garan, Kenrasu, the Leshies are all in Pathfinder. I would look into them. They translate
Yeah.
pretty well to D&D. I've played Garan and D&D.
Yeah, Rook's Garan character is really fun. Conrasu are also Conrasu are really weird because they're like cosmic plant creatures. Like
they're fish bowls that can control plants.
Yeah.
And by plants I mean the tree that they grow out of.
Super weird.
Super weird. All right, blood sword. Here we go. Kind of went all out.
Yeah. I suppose Veggie Pygmy is also a Pathfinder creature. It's a monster specifically. So
Leshy.
But I don't.
Sorry.
It's basically a Leshy. Yeah. I don't know why you couldn't reskin a Leshy as a Veggie Pygmy, but in lore, Veggie Pygmies they're spawned from a creature. I guess it's a plant monster called a yellow musk creeper, but it's like a slime mold colony, and it's Veggie Pygmies are like halfling-sized or goblin-sized little plant gremlins that spring out of corpses of medium-sized creatures or larger creatures that get killed by the yellow musk creeper plant.
Damn it!
And they take care of and worship the musk creeper as mother, and they venerate the corpses of the bodies that they came from as I guess as also one of their sires. Sometimes honoring them by making like weapons or totems from their skulls or from their skeletons. So
I felt really bad. This is off topic. I'm sorry. That was a good introduction to Leshies.
You're good.
Yesterday while I was working, the woodpecker just kept coming back and banging on my chimney. That's not a euphemism. That's what happened. And I finally got so frustrated that I went outside and I picked up a pine cone off the ground and like 360 no scoped it. I just wanted to huck it on the roof to scare it, but I whipped around and just popped this woodpecker with it. And I was like, oh. And it had no idea. It was not looking at me. I zinged it like right in the ass with this pine cone. And it gave me this look like, the fuck was that? And then just took off. I was like, oh man, I feel terrible. It's back today, so I now no longer feel terrible.
Okay.
It did not learn its lesson.
Hopefully, woodpeckers are not like crows, where they'll hold a grudge and tell all their buddies.
I think they're real dumb. I hope they're real dumb. We'll find out. At some point, dark vision just seems like no. At this point, what is that? Feels like normal vision. Okay. More normal vision seems like disadvantage now. Yeah, I very much like lighting effects in video games, in D&D, and so I'm constantly trying to convince people to just deal with lighting, especially like light spells, torches. Don't forget your torches. All kinds of stuff. I really think it is important. It's a good mechanic. Sunlight sensitivity is something that I played with a lot for a lot of different characters. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. I could keep fiddling with it, but I think we got the idea. I'll be a little buffer. A little more buff.
Hey, you know me. I'm always a fan of more muscle.
Actually, I really hate this arm now. I feel like I had something good going here. The arm is just kind of in the way. But I don't want to cover up the tattoo. Maybe that doesn't matter. I'm gonna give her another sword. She's just got her hand on it. Woodpeckers have small brains, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, those brains are real well protected.
Doesn't most races have dark vision in the new 2024 player handbook? Wouldn't be upset at taking dark vision from a lot of races. I think the biggest problem with 5e specifically is that they tried to get rid of like dim light, so it's either you can see in the dark or you can't, and then they started just adding dim light back in, and it's just like, this feels weird. Everything feels weird.
Yeah.
The next D Saturday.
Yeah.
Like Demon Man.
In Pathfinder, they still have low light vision, so yeah, we're talking about specifically our second edition Pathfinder game, and not everything has dark vision. In fact, a lot of things don't even have low light vision. But there are a decent amount of like racial feats that you can get. Like you can do, like a Fire Genasi is not a specific separate race. You have an Ifriti bloodline now. So basically you can take any of the base races and you can put a fire elemental bloodline on top of it. And that one gives you dark vision as an option for a racial feat you can take.
I was going to say, there's a lot more feats that just give it to you, but you have to give up a feat to take it, which I like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also like it. It can get really complicated, especially like looking through all of Pathfinder's feats. And let's be honest, there's a lot of Pathfinder feats that are just not worth taking for most games.
What did I take?
So there's a little bit of bloat, and it's not organized great, but it's like, if you can figure out how to navigate it, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I started building a new character for Kevin the Necromancer's game. He's doing a one-shot, and so I was like, I'm gonna make a Konrasu, and he's like, down. I'm like, okay. So I made a Grand Investigator, which seems a lot of fun, and I just took a bunch of the feats that I normally wouldn't take to see how they run, and some of them have like really weird little additives to them. That like reading it, it's like, oh, I get the alert feature, that's okay, but then like looking at the rest of it, it's like, that's actually really cool. So I'm gonna try those out. We'll see what happens. But Alex says, why did I get 4 ads? YouTube added new little buttons for the ad systems, so I might have turned something on wrong. If you guys keep getting ads, let me know, and I'll fiddle and turn them off again. Would you want to pick a random monster from the monster manual and draw it? Oh, no? Like, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm having people suggest characters. In the monster manual, I mean, that's basically what my videos are, is I pick up a monster from the monster manual. But, like, picking randomly is not fun for me, because I don't like random. I like thoughtfulness.
If you want to pick a random monster and turn it into an interesting drawing idea and then submit that, then sure.
I love crows. I met some eating discarded wraps, and I gave them funny names. That's cool. Crows are kind of assholes, but also I love them. They are great. I feed them on my back porch. But
I think crows are mostly assholes, depending on, one, how smart they are, like as a group, and two, how much of an asshole the people around them are to them.
Yeah,
so.
like I've seen crows are really smart, which is why they're awesome. But they are also playful and sometimes cruel. So
yeah,
my school has resident ducks. They're quite chill, but people always bother them. Ducks, on the other hand, are just assholes because they're stupid. So.
Yes.
Why do middle schoolers and high schoolers say blue jays are named? I don't get that either. Oh, maybe it's from the... Is that the guy's name from... Shoot, what is it?
Is it from Regular Show?
Regular Show, yeah. It's from Regular Show. Okay, there.
I did not like that cartoon very much.
D&D is scary. One of my players is an alchemist and trying to figure out how many sleeping pills it would take to kill a halfling. If I do research to this, I'm probably going to get a list. Yeah.
Don't worry. The list you'll be added to is the list of GMs and artists.
Here's what I would do in your situation. I would make it just like any other poison in D&D. Or there are rules for like drinking too many potions. So after the normal dosage, like doubling the dosage, you have to make a Constitution save. That's probably going to be a normal Constitution save of a 10. 10 plus 2 probably because of the original. You're adding a dose to it. And so I would go up 2 for every dose after that. So I would say it's lethal as soon as they fail the save. That makes sense? So whatever the DC is for the sleeping spell that you're using as the base, or the sleeping pill, like if you give it to somebody, what's the DC for them to actually fall asleep? Add 2 for every extra pill until that roll would kill them. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna roll again. Make it mechanical, not scientific.
Yeah. I think that's good advice.
11. A human path of the zealot barbarian that's more dead than alive. Where the whole headsman get up? Like the headless horseman, or like a
executioner headsman?
Okay, headsman. Notice smoke bellowing from their eyes. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Up until the headsman comment, that reminded me a little bit of Ensha. Who is Corvus's flesh warp character, which I want to say is another good reason to play 2nd edition Pathfinder. It's really easy to play some real messed up and undead characters.
Yeah.
If that's up your alley. I really am such a Paizo simp.
It's easy to be. They do good stuff.
Okay, this was fun. I don't think I want to do too much more. I should probably clean up, do a little bit of lines on her hands, and then I think I'm ready to move on.
Dark greater than adventure. Drake better than adventure time. I don't know what that means.
Drake.
Yeah, I don't know what Drake is. I've been playing monsters. Yep. Okay, we have a whole argument I don't understand now. Jake the dog was a cosmic monster, so
yeah.
I was channeling the Jake the dog earlier when I was drawing the blood sword because they had a sword made out of demon's blood. Give me back my blood.
Oh yeah. And then they fool the demon by making a breezy pop out of grape juice that looked like the demon sword and having the worm priest bless it so that it was counted as holy water, and then he tried to absorb it.
I really want a spin-off of Joshua the dog and his detective agency. I think that would be fun.
I mean, could totally play Jake the dog and Joshua the dog in Pathfinder as
I'm thinking
a
about
Shoonie.
it as a Shoonie. That'd be great.
I don't really know much about the Shoonie other than they're kind of like pug people.
Yep, that's it. That's all they got going for them.
And apparently some really like fishing.
Makes sense to me.
Nothing wrong with that. One of my favorite Ron Swanson quotes from Parks and Rec. Fishing is great. It's like yoga, except at the end of the day, I still get to kill something.
I can see that. We had a whole argument this weekend about there's a magic card that said something about zombies, but on the card it's just a bunch of skeletons. And Kevin the Necromancer's like, these aren't zombies, these are skeletons. I'm like, yeah, that's a little weird. And even the flavor text is talking about skeletons. It's like, this is just bad. This is a bad card.
So was its name about zombies, or was it like its tribe was zombies?
It was a zombie tribal card, so it made all your zombies do things. And it affected zombies, but it was a necromancer, so it was a human necromancer that affected zombies. And the picture was skeletons, and the quote was about skeletons. And it's just like, this is a very strange card.
I do have kind of a question, though. If we're talking undead, fundamentally, besides the fact that one has flesh and the other does not, what's really the difference between a skeleton and a zombie? And do the differences fundamentally matter?
No, they don't. It's all pedanticism. But at the end of the day, it is just flesh. Like, the amount of flesh is on a zombie gives it more functional power.
Oh. Nothing.
Does Evan have the key to get over? I'm very confused about what's going on in chat, so I'm just going to ignore it. What do Zealot Barbarians get again? Do they get the screams?
They do get a battle cry. They kind of become immortal whenever they rage.
Nice. Okay.
Because when they drop to 0, they don't die or go unconscious. They just keep going until their rage ends.
That's pretty dope. I might just make this guy a skeleton, like an actual skeleton. Don't need material opponents to get revived. Oh, that's cool. Oliver says he can hear you better with the microphone. And it's a nice mic nature drawing.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy with both the mic in it and the microphone.
So Go may remember to breathe manually? What? His fingers are uncomfortably long.
Mic in it, it's got to be somewhat alien, okay?
Kevin the Necromancer was asking me about he's setting up this DM thing. He's like, why would you want to play a Garan? Like, they're not going to be normal in this campaign. They're going to be kind of outlandish, and people are going to be weirded out. Like, that's why I want to play it. That's yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's half the fun.
Being a semi-immortal plant creature?
Yep. Like, you're supposed to be an investigator and talk to people. Like, yeah, that's it. That's the whole catch. I'm going to talk to people, and they'll be like, oh shit, you're a plant. That's weird. And I'll be like, yep, tell me about the murder.
Yeah, also, like, in an investigation, like a participating in a police investigation is going to be kind of weird and uncomfortable for the person being interrogated no matter what. So they can just kind of deal with it.
That's what I said. I'm like I want to play this character as, like, I'm going after this cult. That's the whole shebang. There's a cult getting put somewhere. Like, I want to be the expert on that. And I want to be kind of a hard-boiled detective. So I kind of want people to already not like me a little bit. And I want to try to win them over with I'm a pretty plant. So, like, I'm going into this with the intent of the discourse is going to be like, it's a thing. It's already a thing. Nobody's going to want to talk to me anyways, so I might as well pick some features and stuff that make it really like a fun and inviting thing instead of just be intimidating everybody. So I purposely didn't take intimidation. It's like I gotta win them over.
I feel like investigator would be really good for the ancient knowledge line of feats for Garan.
I almost took that, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna take I took the thorny one because I thought that would be fun.
Nice.
Thorns, and then my investigation feat is like interrogation.
Where are they?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Is that the one that gives you the feat lied to me?
It is, yeah.
Some of Pathfinder's feats do have just the best names.
Just started playing Chivalry 2, and it's really fun to learn a lot about medieval combat. Yeah, I heard that's a pretty good game. I remember in D&D 2e playing a Minotaur, and raw people tried to kill me just because Minotaur's body parts could have magic items. That's good. Monster Hunters, I like that.
Yep.
+7 intimidation, people don't like it very much.
I mean,
you gotta know when to use intimidation properly.
Corvus has got a character that wanted to hunt a troll just so that he could have a hand cannon.
No, that was not how it worked.
But that's what happened.
I just realized when we killed it, like, hey, I could use a body part of this thing to make a growth cannon. And it just... I did not mean for it to be at the hand. And it be a hand cannon. I was like, oh, God. Unintentional puns.
Yeah.
Or intentional, you don't know. What am I rolling, by the way, Rick?
D20.
D20, okay.
I feel like I've made a skeleton that is now a scarecrow.
Does
So 56.
Yeah, he looks like that a lot. Natural 1.
Natural 1, alright.
That's okay. I like your scarecrow skeleton. I think designing undead to look like scarecrows, so you have two unsettling things and the unsettling stacking. That's good character design in my mind.
Okay, this is a good one because instead of asking for a thing and a thing, they asked for the thing's thing. A mechanical servant of a fairy artificer. So I appreciate that. I like that. Made to look like a warforged fighter. The fairy lives inside it as it travels. Can also fight with a great sword as if it were a level 6 fighter.
Okay, so a fairy's Jarvis.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Well, fairy's big guy.
Yeah.
I think the fairy would be... Yeah, I guess so. You could look at it that way. Jarvis has piloted the Iron Man suit a few times. So that makes sense.
Who's Big
Mm,
Man?
Big guy. Big guy is.
From-
Or Big
yeah.
Guy?
Yeah, big guy.
From Big Guy and Rusty, which was a bad but amazing cartoon.
Yeah.
See, for some reason, I was thinking that was the name of the robot companion to Ash in Overwatch. It's like,
What?
so Ash.
Nope. Nobody named Ash in Overwatch.
Yes, there is.
Okay, then it's beyond my time, and I don't know what you're talking about.
She's basically like a female Cassidy. And
Oh, the lady with the little tiny robot?
yeah,
Little tiny robot
Well,
thing? Okay.
it's not really tiny. He has a little tiny hat.
There's the lady. Oh, okay. Okay. And then the big cowboy robot. He's got the little tiny
Yeah.
hat, you're saying? Okay, I can picture
Yeah.
this. I can picture this now. I have not played Overwatch with either of those characters. Like, I haven't ever seen them in play. I might
probably
have played
'cause they
Ash
suck.
once. Does she have the rifle? Like, she's got the sawed-off rifle?
Yeah.
I think I tried her out because I like that lever action. And it was bad, and I stopped playing Overwatch again.
I think she's supposed to be like their version of Misfortune.
Sure. Did not know her name was Ash.
Yeah.
Yarvis? Is that guy's name Yarvis? It doesn't matter.
Don't know.
Big guy, what's your class? Object. I mean, yeah. Big guy is just a suit. My Warforged sold his pinky because it made of mithril and it costs a lot. And he could take it off. That's strange. I feel like a mithril pinky would be way more useful than the money that it would be worth. Especially if you're
Yeah.
Warforged.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's actually an interesting way to look at like game design. Because if you are a Warforged and you want your character to be made out of mithril, should that be equated into your starting gold? I would say yes. Because otherwise that's a huge advantage you're gaining. Let alone the ability to just sell it, right? So that's an interesting thought process there. But if your DM allows you to take a decrement for having not a pinky for some gold to start with, that's also good too. So who knows? Okay. I think I'm done with this guy. Skeleton.
Zomboys and Skelemans.
I don't know nothing about no skeletons. Skeletons? I think he said skeletons. Wait, Oliver, is this the same character you were playing last week? I didn't know you were a Warforged. That makes more sense for why you have such high stats. Warforged are great. Warforged. I wish they
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. I like the 3.5 versions better, but that's fine. Like, that's neither here nor there. Oh, it's a Warforged in your party. Okay. All right, roll the dice. Here we go. 2. Andy Orid? Is that the name, I guess? Giant insect barbarian, minor. Likes digging around for shiny rocks. And finds having a human disguise overrated. All right. Naughty Orid. Okay. Rock spider. what I'm guessing that is. Not a name. Still the OP Dragonborn Warlock, man. Okay, that's why I was like, oh, man. Switching to a Warforged already? Giant rock spider. The Inati are the spider people, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just make a spider version of Skarner.
Yeah. Crystalline spider. Scorpion thing. Spiders and scorpions are related, right?
Yeah, they're both arachnids.
One of them's
Both have
like,
8 legs.
what if the venom comes out my mouth? The other one's like, what if the venom comes out my butt? They're like, okay, this got weird. Checkmate, evolutionists. Oh, man. No, I shouldn't trash talk. I want to trash talk it so hard, though.
Yep. Then let's talk about vinegaroons or whiptail scorpions.
What are those?
They
Vinegaroo sounds familiar.
they look a lot like scorpions, except like their butt is kind of more bulbous, and then instead of the long segmented tail, they literally have a whip-like tail.
Oh, yeah.
And their forward claws are kind of less grabby and more kind of spiky punching gloves. And out of their whip tail, they spray acetic acid. Like they produce and spray acetic acid to
Vinegar.
spray into,
Vinegar.
yeah,
Makes sense.
exactly, to spray into predators' eyes. I think they mostly live in caves. They're super weird.
Hello, gentlemen and ladymen. Gentles and ladymen. Sounds like a Warforged thing. That's pretty good. I like that. Went to a bug place and handled a bunch of odd things. Nice. That's pretty cool. Did we have a spider barbarian a week ago? I think we did. Maybe might have been 2 weeks ago. But yeah. Evolution. I need to stop getting on the weird side of YouTube, where people have all these crazy theories that I love listening to, and just being like, the fuck are you talking about? Birds aren't real. That was always my favorite.
Birds aren't real. Fish aren't real.
Fish aren't real. There's always somebody mad on the internet about something.
Oh, that's the internet.
Yeah. If you're not mad enough to bare knuckle box, you ain't mad. My favorite Cotton Hill quote from King of the Hill. Drawing lots of abs today.
It's a good
One of
day
those
for
days.
abs.
Yep.
I worked on abs today. Maybe one day I'll have some.
You missed all last week when we were trash talking having abs. Too hard. Bad for your body. Not bad for your body. It's just tough on your body.
You were trash talking them.
Yeah, it was trash.
I was just in agreement.
Well, I naturally have very little body fat, anyway, so maybe I'll have some, and it won't be any harder on my body than my other issues.
I think we all saw like a Hugh Jackman interview where he was talking about basically like having to dehydrate himself so his abs looked good for the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, ugh, yuck. I had a friend that used to work out all the time. She had abs, and it was like, I want that. She's like, no, you don't. I was like, okay.
I'm like, but I do. I'm like, no, you don't.
Trust me. Trust me, you don't. All right. Spelljammer is cool. Spelljammer is cool. So I guess I'm fake. Wait, what? What did I miss? What did I miss? Are you saying you're fake because you're a bird or a fish? Yeah,
And the reason I said fish are fake is because previous conversations we've had on here.
I don't remember, but it sounds like something I would think someone believed.
Yeah. Well, fish is a bad description for an animal.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's how jaded I am. Like I am so easily to believe that anybody will believe anything. That's the
I mean, look, I was on Facebook for years. I believe that too.
It's on Facebook for years.
I've seen it. I was born in the darkness.
Yeah. Some people think Canada and Australia are fake. Uh-huh. Yep. I can understand Australia. It's a really wacky place, but it does exist. I like to believe that Australia exists as well. All the evidence points to that.
I mean, kind of hard to believe that people live upside down, but sure.
I just love the old Bugs Bunny cartoons when people like, or Rocky and Bullwinkle when they dig down into the earth and like pop out in China.
Yeah.
Like, it's just funny. It's a funny joke, and like people took that as a religion, and it's like that's weird. So that's a thing.
The history of humanity proves people will make a religion out of just about anything if you give them enough reason to. But that's getting close to a topic we shouldn't be talking about, probably.
Probably.
Okay, so a fairy would definitely be an anthropomorphic rabbit mech, right?
I like it. That is an Overwatch character. Wait, is it a rabbit? Yeah, I guess Steve is a rabbit.
All our stuff is rabbit themed, so
Yeah, it's supposed to be a
say so.
bunny. I think its name is Bunny, now that I think about it.
Bionic. Does Canada exist? Yes, of course Canada exists.
What's Canada?
It's the kindest place on earth until you trash talk hockey.
I was gonna say something about the meth problem, but
Yeah.
I think yours was better. Yours was better.
I don't think we have any place to talk about meth problems.
That's fair. You're like, yeah. I live close enough to Canada that it's all the same.
I mean, people who live in the Dakotas all sound like they're from Canada to me, so.
Don't put chemicals up your nose unless it's prescribed by your doctor. That's all I'm saying. Do Anati have 4 arms? I think they do.
Uh,
It depends on what form they're in, I think.
They
yeah.
have different forms?
Yeah, they're a lot like the kitsune. They have a couple of possible transformations.
Sick.
Because, like, their real form, at least by the book, is just a giant spider.
Yeah, yeah.
Oxygen is a chemical compound. Debatable.
Yeah, it's also extremely toxic and corrosive. Have you met anybody who's ever breathed oxygen that didn't die?
It's got you there. Dead to rights. Have you never heard that, Corvus?
I've heard it once before, and I just wasn't expecting it again.
That was a huge precursor to all the bullshit that's going on now.
Yeah.
What is it?
Dihydrogen monoxide. Yeah, I always thought that was just a stupid joke that got passed around in middle school.
Nope.
Dihydrogen monoxide, in other words, H2O, water.
It's technically the wrong way to classify it, but it makes sense. It makes sense. A real scientist wouldn't write it that way. It's a spooderman. Yeah, Dragon. It's a spooderman. Stop breathing oxygen, drinking water. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend, talking to your doctor about the intake that you are currently taking and whether or not you should have more or less. But
Yeah. You got to be careful. The withdrawals for those things are rough.
that being said, I still stand by my don't stick chemicals up your nose without talking to your doctor. Don't shoot oxygen up your nose without talking to your doctor.
Yeah.
Bionic's being pedantic, but I'm gonna stand by my reasoning. We're all full of beans today. I don't know what's going on.
Just like, remember, pure oxygen is super highly corrosive. One of the reasons we need it in our body is because it is like it drives oxygen-based chemical reactions, which you need to survive, right?
Too much of it is bad.
So too much of it is really bad. Our atmosphere has actually very little oxygen. It's
mostly nitrogen, which is inert.
Yeah. Where I think it's less than 20% oxygen. Don't quote me on.
Yeah, I thought it was like 8 or 7. Maybe 8 or 7 is what we need to survive.
Yeah.
That might be the low end of it. Chemistry. Yeah, chemistry.
Chemistry is really cool, but I'm not great at it.
New fashion trend in tinfoil hats. Glad that one finally coming back around. 21% oxygen, Halber says.
21% oxygen. Wow. No, but like oxygen is actually so corrosive and potentially toxic that I believe oxygen was the cause of, if not the first, one of the really early biological die-off events, mass extinction events on the planet.
I can see that.
When it was really early on when what's the bacteria that produced oxygen using photosynthesis before plants ate them? Cyanobacters? Anyway, huge. No, before phytoplanktons.
Okay.
Basically, I was taught in high school biology that phytoplankton and plants absorbed these bacteria into them and then like didn't digest them and they just kind of started living together and then like merged into the same sort of organism.
That's cool.
I think it is cyanobacters.
If you play by
You're talking about
Eventually's rules,
things I don't
Bergman
understand,
don't exist. What's that, Corvus?
I said y'all have moved to things I have no idea about, so it's like I'm just like, okay.
You didn't take 4 years of biology?
Hell no.
Wait, you passed it the first time you took it? Oh, damn.
Passed with a C.
I was a biology 101 tutor for a semester. I had one person show up. So I stopped doing that.
I was a religion major. Though my degree it's classified as a Bachelor of Science, so
Yeah, actually, that's a funny thing that people don't quite get. The difference between science and art. So it makes sense to me.
yeah. For me, it only happened because I couldn't pass my foreign language classes.
Oh,
So I was like, is there another option? It's like you go and take another lab class and go as a bachelor's of science. I'm like, deal. So I took environmental science.
Nice.
Where we spent nothing but
but
trash talking corn.
Yeah, Adventure League is basically no flying races allowed. Because flight can break some of the story was written specifically without flying in mind. So because the DMs have to follow the rules of the book, the flying creatures are just not allowed. Which is fine. Like, that's totally legitimate.
Yeah, and if you're a GM and you are writing your own module where you specifically do not want flying allowed, like, that's okay as well, as long as you make sure that your players are aware of that before they start building their characters.
I do think not allowing it is lazy on the DM side, but
I agree.
I will never hold that against somebody if they decide not to do that. Like, you've got a lot of stuff going on as a DM. If flight is going to make it too complicated for you, don't put it. It's not worth the stress. But I think it's doable. So I'll always suggest it, but never give anybody shit for not allowing it.
Just communicate with your players about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and roll
early
again.
and often. Yeah.
I'm done with this spider boy. 6. Water Genasi, Draconic Sorcerer Noble. With Eastern Dragon Horns. Okay. A River Dragonborn. And it looks like red has taken over the polls, so I'm going to draw this one in red. Excuse me. Didn't mean to burp in the microphone. Depends on if the book's allowed. Yeah, and that's really the important thing to look at. Is some will be viable, but most of the time Adventure League just simplifies it all the way down. And even Pathfinder does that. The new Pathfinder books do it the same way. They don't add a flight speed to it, and they're like, at your DM's discretion, give your players a flight speed if you think that they should have one. Because that way it prevents people from, surprise, I can fly. And it's like, wasn't supposed to be in this campaign. So once got told by a professor, I need a scientific source to back up my claim that you shouldn't drink bleach. It's on the bottle. But what's the source for the bottle? Because you can drink bleach. And listen to me. In very, very small concentrated amounts, and you should not do it regularly. Bleach is used all over the world as a means of water decontamination in like parts per million. Do not drink bleach out of a bottle, ever. Do not drink bleach out of a glass, ever. Like, do not drink just bleach, ever. But bleach is something that is safe for human consumptions in very specific amounts. Very specific amounts. And the food industry uses bleach all the time to clean things. So
also lye. Don't eat lye, but it's used in the food industry constantly.
Pretzels. Pretzels only exist because you dip them in lye. So it's really so I got mad at her. That's totally fair. If the bottle says don't drink this, that's a good source. But you should look into where that source is coming from, usually from the FDA or from a study that would specify the quantities at which you should not be consuming a specific chemical. So,
And that is probably the lesson that your professor was trying to teach you, and probably failed to do.
it was about drinking pure bleach, which bad. Don't do. Never do. Drinking bleach bad. But that I think Drew is right. I think it's more about understanding and finding the sources for commonality, because common sense isn't enough for people. Like you need to be able to specify things. So I had a lot of issues with teachers like that, where it's just like, that's stupid, and then years later it's like, I understand what they were talking about, even though they didn't maybe say it the right way.
You can communicate with students and say, this is a thing that seems nonsensical, but it's a thing you need to learn how to do, because while you may not think it's necessary in this context, it's going to be necessary in a lot of other contexts, and you need to know how to do it.
I cleaned some tomatoes that got touched by chicken with bleach, because that's the proper way to do it.
Yeah. It's what, like a tablespoon of bleach per gallon of water?
Something like that, yeah.
To wash
vegetables
produce
off.
in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Normally I would just throw the tomato away, but it was a whole pack of brand new tomatoes, and I was like, I'm gonna wash them. It was the university. Yeah, I bet it was more. Either the two options are: one, the teacher was an idiot, or two, they were trying to teach you a lesson that you didn't get, which could be on either you or them. I've totally been in both situations myself. So
yeah, same. And this is why I harp so much on communicate with your D&D players if you're a GM, because like that frustrating feeling that you have because your professor said something that you thought was unreasonable and stupid, they were trying to communicate something with you, and whether or not it failed or whoever's fault it was, it all comes down to a breakdown in communication. So like it's really helpful. It's probably one of the most important skills you can develop as a GM, in my opinion, to realize when a miscommunication is happening, and be able to break it down and try to help your players understand what's happening and why.
Yeah. Yep. She was not popular. She was just bad. It's very possible. When I was really young, I opened a child-proof cabinet lock and drank vinegar. Parents freaked out, rushed to the doctor, but they ended up being fine. Not sure how much I drank, though. Yeah, vinegar is... The toxicity level of vinegar, I think, is more than in a bottle, but that can be less for children and people with like bad kidneys and stuff. So most likely drinking vinegar will just make you sick, but it can be lethal. It can be lethal.
Vinegar does not taste great. I can't imagine a child drinking enough vinegar intentionally after the first gulp to make them seriously sick.
I definitely as a kid drank an entire jar of pickles. Pickled chips.
But that's not just vinegar, right? It has a lot of vinegar, yes, but it's mostly water and salt and there are seasonings in there, right? So
but no, straight vinegar, like I said, there's a limit to it. Like I think it's a lot. Vinegar is not toxic
in small amounts.
Which is why it's a safe thing to have, like, around everything. You can use it to wash stuff. You can use it to eat stuff. Generally safe.
Like, I know people who use it just, like, whenever they're, like, say, need to sterilize something kind of quickly that will get the job done. Distilled white vinegar.
Yeah. Very few things can live in vinegar, which is why it makes pickles, right? Bacteria can't live in it. That's
why we use it for preserving food.
It works really well. So if you can't get alcohol to wash something, vinegar is a good thing that was used for that purpose for hundreds of years, if not thousands.
It's also a precursor to acetone.
Yep. So,
which you should never drink.
That's just more distillation, right? Like you just keep breaking it down.
You do have to break down a little bit more. Acetone is derived from vinegar. You take vinegar and you boil it with a source of calcium carbonate. So it could be it could be Tums if you wanted to do that. Like that's a fairly harmless chemistry experiment. But like you can do egg whites, you could do oyster shells or any other shellfish shell. You could do concrete probably. Anyway, so you just have to react it under heat with a source of calcium, usually calcium carbonate, and the reaction produces acetone, which you have to distill because acetone is extremely volatile, but it is still an organic solvent.
Yeah. Everything is toxic. It's all about
like everything
dosage.
that lives wages chemical warfare on everything else that lives constantly.
It's all about the dosage. I helped design a lot of the media assets for a toxicology class, so I got to look at a whole bunch of that crap for like 2 years.
Cool. That sounds like fun.
One word for it, yeah. Actually, it was a lot of fun. I shouldn't trash talk, but it was a lot of just like data crunching. Make a chart. It's like, okay.
At the very least, it sounds interesting to me, right?
That's also why I won't eat liver anymore. When the professional toxicologist says never eat liver, done. Done. Will not.
Yeah. That is probably a pretty good sign.
All the bad stuff your body doesn't like goes to your liver first. Radical left. What is this? Jesus. Okay, back to chat. Let's get back. Someone sent me a meme and I just read it out loud. I almost did. Oh, I'm sorry, Lehman. I just realized I wasn't in the right chat.
That was mostly the conversation I was having with them. They were asking about like where to post suggestions.
Yeah, I can put that in there on the list.
Because they gave me a compliment about my myconids and said they wanted to submit a myconid for next week.
Done. Oh, for next week?
Yeah.
Did you already suggest one for this week? I would assume. We'll have to.
I had told them for next week, assuming that they had already offered a suggestion for this week. So,
but my doctor told me to eat liver. Doctor should always supersede anything I say because I'm just an idiot on the internet.
Yeah, but also,
unless your doctor tells you to like play large size creatures, and that's which case I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Also, maybe be aware that most doctors basically have a degree in pharmacology, not dietetics. So, like, you should still absolutely listen to their advice, but doctors are not the end all be all advice on the food you should be eating, depending on specialization.
We gotta get you out of Utah.
Yeah, probably.
Because I would totally agree with you 10 years ago when I lived in Idaho. Since I've moved to Washington, like the medical people I talk to here are amazing.
Oh, you mean I could actually probably get treatment for my crippling chronic illness in Washington State?
There's definitely a
I'm not getting any here.
Yeah. It sucks. It sucks. Like, the vitriol in your voice was something I remember from myself 10 years ago. What? Doctors don't agree on everything? Yeah. Doctors are not necessarily always dietitians. Mine is. But I think that's important. It's like finding the right doctor for you is important too. Whereas in Idaho, there's one kind of doctor. So
I have a dermatologist that he's basically the best in the state. I trust him really well. But he's a dermatologist and not qualified to deal with my endocrinology stuff.
Definitely, when I came here, I definitely started seeing specialists way more. When I was in Idaho, It was just like someone would look at you and be like, yeah, whatever, here, take some pills. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that I moved here, they're like, oh no, you need to talk to this guy. You need to go over here. It's like, okay, we'll do that. Surprise!
I have talked to
feel
a fair number of specialists, but
doctor
they'll find it
specializes
pretty
in weird
difficult.
cases. That's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Not funny, haha, but like funny, ooh, weird, interesting. I'm one of them special doctors. I don't remember what this was supposed to be. It was a water genasi dragonborn, and I forgot in the class, so I just drew another buff man with abs. The one true donut.
It's a fun default.
Yeah, might have to check. Hold on. Draconic Sorcerer's Noble. No abs. Taking the abs away.
Oh.
Noble Dragonborn. Cosmic, I did hear someone talking about that the other day. I thought that was interesting. Another weird part of the internet I was on. Someone was asking like, why don't if life is so easy to happen in these specific situations, why don't we see more life popping up all over the place? New life popping up all over the place? And the problem is that there's so many in places where conditions are right for life to thrive. The bacteria that we already have also thrives there and is way more way more prepared to just take over that environment than anything that would just pop up.
Yeah.
So it does pop up everywhere and is very quickly quashed by
Yes.
things that already exist. I thought that was an interesting thought. I'm in my 20s, but I have a medical condition that's usually are in men over 80s. Oof. Bacteria is prepared, just like Batman. That's the way to do it.
Pretty much. I guess I'd better clean up this right arm, and then I think I'm done with this. Yeah, Bunny Mech was kind of fun.
Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. As for without the vitriol of not all doctors are right, because doctors are people too. I
Yeah.
would highly suggest talking to doctors about medical and biological things, as my expertise comes from dicking around on the internet. Like, that's actually my degree is biological, not biological. God, that was an old one. I almost got a degree in biological systems engineering. Architecture. Integrated architecture is what I have a degree in. So, if you have an integrated architecture question about, hey, how do game mechanics work? I'm your guy. But if you have a question about how vinegar will impact your body, yeah, talk to your doctor about that. Talk to a doctor. Just call a doctor. Be like, hey, what happens if I drink a bunch of vinegar? And they'll probably be like, yeah, don't do that. Probably not good for you.
In small amounts, it's not bad. Vinegar acts as a deflocculant. I don't know if it works exactly that way in your blood.
See, this is why I said I have to talk to a doctor, because I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just speculative at this point.
I do know that it acts as a deflocculant because we use that in ceramics all the time. Deflocculant means that it makes a liquid, it makes slurry act more liquid without necessarily adding more water.
I thought deflocculants pulled like grit out of the water.
That's the opposite. That's a flocculant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you add a flocculant to a pool to pull the grime out so that it settles on the bottom and you can clean it. They do kind of get mixed up in common parlance a fair amount, though.
Yeah, because if you're defloculating flocculating something, you think you're removing something, is where my mind went.
Yeah.
But if you're flocculating it. I get a
What's
degree
that,
in bioscience, become a YouTuber, Twitch streamer instead of... I don't know what that means. In other words, competition is too strong. Yeah, guys, competition is too strong.
I mean, that's not exclusive to any one thing. I know of 2 YouTubers who are civil engineer, like have civil engineer degrees and worked as civil engineers, who now play video games for a living on YouTube. So one of them
about
is
Markiplier and Real Civil Engineer. Because those are 2 people that went to school. I don't think Markiplier finished his degree though.
No, I wasn't talking about Markiplier, but I was talking about RCE. The other one is Blitz.
I don't know Blitz. Brett and Link also went to school for engineering.
Yeah, and then like worked for years before they like started doing podcasty stuff as commercial producers, right?
Yeah. Well, not years. It was, I mean, like, it was all kind of the same time. They started doing YouTube videos, and that got them to do a few commercials, and then they just started doing that.
Okay. Gotcha. I haven't watched any of Rhett and Link's stuff in a while.
I pretty much watch Good Mythical Morning every morning. Nice little way to, like, wake up and have breakfast.
Yeah.
PewDiePie also has a degree. I think he started his video as a college student after YouTube. He's a chemist. He does baking videos. I've seen one of him. There's another guy that... There's a lot of good, well-educated people making YouTube videos.
Yeah. I tend to prefer well-educated people who make YouTube videos because, well, I'm less likely to get weird, esoteric nonsense and conspiracy theory bullshit from them.
That's very true.
So, yeah.
There's like I've said this before, I think, but if anything, higher education helps you learn how to learn and how to kind of function, regardless of what degree you're getting. So education is never wasted, even though you might not be doing the thing that you went to school for. So you just have to know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Helps. Like, knowing what you want to do really helps.
Yeah. I maybe shouldn't have gone to I maybe shouldn't have gone to college. I maybe should have gone to trade school.
Yeah, I think with but like you may not have been able to find out what you wanted to do without doing all the things you did.
Yeah, that's probably true. But I would probably be in a better position if I had, say, become a carpenter or a cabinet maker.
Maybe. No way to know.
Yeah.
No use dwelling on the past.
What does an 18 get me?
A large Lokatha samurai modeled off a large koi fish. Nothing too derpy, please. How dare you? How dare you?
There's no such thing as a non-derpy catfish. Thank you very much.
Well, that was specifically for Rook because he was getting it googly eyes.
Lokatha need googly eyes.
Debatable.
Did you write that? Is that your suggestion?
Yeah, that was from like 2 weeks ago.
How dare you? No, that's fine. I'm being facetious.
I know.
It's funny when YouTubers I follow get cited on fashion history papers. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. I think people have this misconception that, one, being a YouTuber has to be stupid shit. Like, there's a lot of really good professors I know that put their stuff out on YouTube as a means of engagement and trying to convince people how to do stuff. So, like, it's very well educated, well thought through, and poignant stuff that maybe isn't the best, most entertaining thing. But, like, YouTube can be an amazing resource to learn a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Hank Green is probably the most successful at in bridging the two, right? Like, finding a way to make good information palatable to a wider audience. And I think that's what he does really well.
I think as good as he is at it, I think he's even better at finding other people to and helping them make channels to do it.
Engineers on YouTube show how crazy those folks are. Yeah, because there's like a whole bunch of people that like Osmond, whatever his name is, the cat toast guy, cat bread guy. There's a whole bunch of engineers out there, like young engineers, that instead of going into being engineers, just like, I'm going to see if I can make a lawnmower into a rocket launcher. And it's just like, okay, that's entertaining, but it's not really like educational. And in my mind, a lot of it's dangerous and irresponsible.
Yeah.
So, like, because like Mythbusters is a great example. Like, they spawn an entire generation of stuff where it's like, you don't need a lot of clout to really do these things, because they're using stuff that is in most people's workshops. So, like, if you have a workshop, you can attempt these and you can make fun content out of it. So I think there's a very large opportunity for anyone to get their information out there, and some of that information can be very insightful and new and novel. And so some projects can lead to brand new discoveries. Like, I don't know if anybody who's watching follows ClickSpring, but like it's really satisfying if you like watching clocks get made. Nice.
But the YouTuber who did it, his name is Chris, and he he did a series where he was reproducing the Antikythera mechanism, which is a brass clockwork dial mechanism that tracked and predicted calendar events like moon phases and solar phases and eclipses, and also tracked 2 different Greek games.
That's pretty cool.
And it's like, it was all done by Gears, and it's really, really cool. And he like, in the process of researching and reproducing that the mechanism, he did this huge deep dive, and then he like stopped for a year. I think it was more like a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, because he learned so much while making this that he got approached and helped author a scientific paper about new discoveries about the Antikythera mechanism.
That was something really interesting. The guy that did the primitive channel, like the original guy that started showing off how to use like primitive tools to make stuff, which is now like a whole genre of
YouTube's. Most of it's fake.
Most of it's fake. He stopped posting, and everyone was really confused about it. And he stopped posting because he got picked up by the Discovery Channel to make a real show about it. And so that's great. Like, that's the whole thing, right? Like, YouTube is at first like a hobbyist channel, and that's where a lot of great things come from. And so engineer. I think the reason people don't think about YouTube is because most of the high-end profile creator posts are dumb nonsense. Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. I think you're absolutely right. And it's the same thing with, like, Markiplier is a great example because he's one of the more popular people on YouTube. But he's focused pretty much solely on video games and, like, some blog stuff. But he is now trying to produce full-length movies, right? So he went to college to be an engineer, found this as a hobby, was really good at it, and then spent the next 10 years developing his skills to become essentially a full film producer, like running everything about creating a functional show. So
Yeah.
if he had started his education 10 years ago in film, because that's what he knew he'd wanted to do, he'd probably be way better at it now. But he did it the long way around. And I think it's great. And it's amazing. And I love watching his process and how he's getting there. So
Yeah.
I love watching
What was
hackers make moves.
what was the class for this Lokatha koi fish again?
Samurai.
Samurai.
Yeah.
Samurai.
Yeah, Michael Reeves. Is that the guy that electrified his floor so he could electrify his roommates?
Oh,
You say the U.S. doesn't like you inventing explosive chemicals. True. YouTubers I know had government suits show up and tell them to stop engineering. Yeah, watched a couple of those. That's pretty common though. Like even Adam Savage has had to deal with stuff like that. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I watched a yeah.
the government came around and took my rocket ship. It's like you were trying to launch a rocket without federal clearance. Like,
Yeah. Like,
go through the processes, please, which you would
you're
know if you went to
endangering
college for it.
hundreds. Yeah, you're endangering hundreds of people and potentially disrupting air traffic. So maybe have a modicum of self-awareness about that, please.
That happens in colleges all the time.
Like recently, you told me about the Idaho University who launched a weather balloon
Yeah,
without
100%.
telling.
One of those
Anyone.
big rockets that, or one of the big balloons that got shot out of the sky with rockets was apparently a University of Idaho weather balloon.
Oh,
Because they're like,
what?
well,
It
we
wasn't
didn't
a
think it was...
spy balloon?
No.
Tiny spy balloon?
I mean, some of them probably were, but one of them wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just a weather balloon that they didn't file clearance for. So they're like, well, we didn't think it was going to go that high. It's like, well.
Well, it did, and now you're in trouble.
Remember the guy that built the flying suit? Yeah. Yep.
I loved when they were going back to Mythbusters, when they were doing the rocket car challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they showed them going through the process of like getting approval for it. It's like, thank you for showing this, because there were probably plenty of people who would just attempt this without even trying to get approval.
What was some of the behind the scenes? They were like trying to find the actual rockets. Like, hey, can we buy some JATO rockets from you? And they're like, no, no, you cannot. You cannot do that. You want to what now? I just want to strap it to my car. Like, no. All right, I'm gonna roll more. Roll more dice. Here we go. There was a Boy Scout who made a nuclear device and only got caught because he tried to dispose of it. Part of it. 3. Ocelot style female lionid? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Eldritch Knight fighter, dual wielding long spears. Light armor. Alright. I don't know what an ocelot looks like. Look that up.
It looks like a savanna cat.
If you're being an ocelot, but a leonid, are you not just a cat folk?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you're just a Devaxi at that point.
The chat has accrued purple as the new color, so we can do that. My argument is still that the leonids just don't need to exist. They're just big cat folks.
I'm okay with their existence because they get a roar.
I just think it's a variant. It's a variant on the cat folk.
I suppose you might be able to make an argument, because I think Tabaxi are supposed to be like house cat, and the Leonids are supposed to be like wildcats, and an Ocelot is more of a wildcat.
That's fair.
I posted a picture for you,
Thank
so.
you.
Yeah. Let's see. Which, okay. Not the picture I was going to go with, but.
Man made a nuclear
close
reactor
enough.
out of iridium and a fire alarms. It worked, but the project was seized. And he was arrested. Yep. There was we used to talk about this in college, like the plans to make a nuclear reactor are on the internet. Like, you can get them. The problem is a lot of the things you need to make them are not.
Yeah. The yellow cake uranium is a
highly
controlled
gated,
substance.
highly guarded. But like, you can do it. I think Nile Red talked about this a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
he bought a beaker that the cops were like, why are you doing this? Why'd you buy this? And he's like, I'm a chemist. And they're like, where do you work? He's like, well, I'm a YouTuber. He's like, are you sure? Because the only people that buy this are like industrial chemists and meth dealers. And he's like, no, I need it. You can see me using it on my video. And they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, people have this like, oh, the YouTubers are getting like, government's out to get them. It's like, no, I mean, they're doing things that are weird. You need to check up on that shit sometimes.
Yeah. I am sure when Nile Red made uranium glass that he probably got another call, or they were like, okay, so like, this isn't highly refined uranium, but you're still buying uranium. You got something you need to tell us?
He ended up with radiation scores all over him. Yeah, not fun. Not like, there's
Oof.
sometimes there's public safety, and sometimes there's we're protecting you from yourself safety.
Yeah.
I mean, like Madame Curie, that's like, it's super tragic, super smart.
Oh yeah.
Had no idea. Like, literally died so that people know, oh, radiation might be dangerous. Yeah.
Still didn't stop people from like selling radium infused water to people.
Up to like the 1970s.
Yeah.
Like,
Watches are there's a lot of antique watches that are pretty scarily radioactive because there's radium in the lume, the white part on the dial that glows in the dark.
Yep.
So you can read your watch when they're in dim light. Yeah.
Depending on what plane the lean comes from, they could be panthers, lions, ocelot, leopards, jaguars, tigers, etc. Yeah. Planes being
If we're talking magic, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understood that.
It's just that the name Leonid does tend to suggest lion, not any wildcat, right?
Yeah.
Like that's part of the problem is words mean things, and Leonid suggests a specific type of cat.
Yeah, and like it's the same thing with owlins. Like the owlins didn't need to exist because the Aarakocra already existed.
Yeah,
and so instead
that one I do agree with you.
Like, you could definitely have a lot of variants with that, and like, that's kind of my problem with like the half human debacle of like half orcs is its own race. It's like, why isn't that just a variant? Why isn't that just humans with a orc lineage or an orc with human lineage? Like, you don't need to make it a whole race. it's just
these things are. And why does it have to only be human?
Exactly. Yeah. It should be every race, and then you have a half orc lineage for it.
Which is what second edition Pathfinder did.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I like it better. Optically, it's a much less racially charged system.
Look at the Orleans. What's currently being drawn? Yeah, we have a look. I'm trying to draw an ocelot. I'm struggling, but we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
But
Wino dogs, wolf people, what gives? That has always been a little strange in D&D, and I think part of it was you're not allowed to kill dogs.
Yep.
Straight up.
Cats are evil, so it's okay to kill them.
Yeah. That being said, like werewolves, dire wolves and stuff exist. And I'm okay with that. Maybe all the werewolves, all the werewolf fear made any dog races just skedaddle.
Yeah.
Make your own. Reskin something else.
The Shumi do exist, though.
That's one I'm not familiar with.
They're the pug people in 2nd edition.
Yeah,
always
I
thought
haven't
they
looked
were
at them yet.
Corgis. I want them to be corgis, but they're pugs, which is fine.
You can make them corgis?
I have. The lions are considered panthers in real life when we come with other cats. Don't kick the chickens. Yeah. Weapons exist in older editions. There you go. What was this supposed to be? Spears. You had 2 spears. Shoot.
Hang on.
Oh, am I going to do water samurai armor?
Just do regular samurai armor and give it some like water symbology on it. That'd be cool.
Well, part of the problem for me is that samurai armor doesn't. It really, really, really does not look hydrodynamic. It does not look like something that I think a race that lives mostly underwater would reasonably come up with
All
as
I'm saying,
as physical defense.
one of the Ronin warriors was water elementals. That's all it was.
Is a Eldritch Knight fighter with dual-wield longswords.
Oh, I thought it was dual wielding spears. Dang it. Still good. Not as good, but still good.
Slightly more practical than spears. Dual wield.
Shell mail. That could be fun too.
Shellmail could be fun. You know what? I think I might skip the samurai armor mostly and go for a really fancy, kind of koi patterned, kimono.
That could be cool.
That might work.
Koimono?
Action.
Koimono. It's my koimo. No, that's bad. That's terrible.
Super down with like and thumbs and wish more player options and more interesting and more powerful. I don't know if they need to be more powerful, but I agree. I like them a lot. Templates, people. Get a template. Be comfortable with giving your players more power. Essentially, if they become a werewolf, it should be a curse and a detriment. And then if they somehow control it, i.e. cure the curse but retain the abilities, then they are getting a pretty big boon. And that just needs to be equated into your player shenanigans. This player gets a +3 sword. This player becomes a werewolf. Equatable.
Damn, I'm gonna have to look up proper mono, right? Because if it's got to be right side over left, because left side over right is for the dead.
Only if they're from Japan.
Well, aren't most koi originally speciated to be koi from Japan?
I'm saying it's a fantasy character. You can do whatever you want.
You know, it's not going to hurt me to try to be respectful of the culture. So I'm just gonna look it up. It's fine. Google is a thing.
Would you say shifters are strong? I mean, there's just the race or the class. I think most things are pretty balanced. Like, there's a few things that are a little weaker, but I've still yet to find something that I find really, really underpowered.
Strixes and Pathfinder 2nd edition.
I got it backwards. It's left side over right, not right side over left. Left side, yeah.
Sell me on it, Corvus. Why are they underpowered?
for the sole fact that if you're playing an adventure path, the only feats you can really take are your flying feats, because they had no other feats. So if you're given flying from the beginning, like Druid would do for us,
Yeah.
you basically have no ancestry feats to take when you level up, because that's all their feats is based around flying.
Can you not just take the common ancestry feats? No, you might be right.
There is no common ancestry feats.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I was running into the same problem with the Garan and the Kanrasu, because they only have 4. They have 4 ancestry feats, and that's it. So, like, by the time you level all the way up, they have all of them. So,
yeah.
I can see that. I can see that being an issue.
Because it's like, same with the sprite, really, because the sprite has a little bit more going for it. Because you could, but it's like, they have long feet trees based around their flying with Strix, and it's just very few feats other than related to flying. It's like,
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking into it more. I do, however, feel like the Strix themselves should be based around their flying. Like, it's kind of their whole jam. So,
well, yeah,
I get the starting point, and then it's just a matter of what else to do with it. Because it would be weird for you to be like, I'm a Strix and I don't fly. It's like, what? Your whole body is wings.
Yeah. In first edition, the Strix were all about hating humans.
Yep. Just vitriolic human hating.
understandable.
Warforged clerics of the Forge, artificer glamours with arcane armor activated in Guardian. Is this a suggestion? What am I doing here? Chain blades that comes out of the back of his arms. An army of replications of himself? Revenants was a crazy fun build for a crazy fun time. This is a suggestion. Okay. I once again can't click on the YouTube chat. Cool. There we go. It's on the list.
Corvus, was there a specific weapon in mind?
I was just kind of expecting a katana.
Okay, I mean, like...
Isn't that the one guy from Lee? Maybe.
I tend to prefer pole arms for underwater, so I was thinking Naginata, but if you...
Ooh, yeah.
I mean...
If you've got a preference...
Yeah, I don't have a preference.
Okay.
I go for the Wakizashi, but that's just me, because I always will.
That's just the short one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any opinions on the Watsy Pinkerton thing? No. Sorry. I guess my opinion is it's stupid and Watsy needs to get his shit together. Like,
Yeah, my opinion is I don't want to interact with that.
Yeah. Don't talk about Watsy dying here. That's a great way to put it.
I'm a Paizo simp anyway, so I'm happy to just leave it be.
Let me give me a minute and see if I can come up with an opinion. But I think Bionic has the right idea. Like, we kind of just don't talk about it. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that do want to talk about kind of the egregious nature of Watsy right now. And I would prefer to leave that to them because I honestly just don't look into it that much. Like, I read the story and I was like, Jeebus, why? And I love D&D and I love Magic the Gathering, but them as a company have kind of let me down a lot. So, for the most part, I think they are... I think the people that work there are generally just still trying to make good things, but the corporation itself is it's in a downward spiral of destroying itself. So hopefully they'll figure something out. But as is, we're playing lots of Pathfinder now because I've loved Pathfinder for years, and now people care about it enough to actually play it with me. So it's great. More attention on Paizo is always a good thing. Watsy attempted to create a general animal-based character race template, and people hated it because it was either not animal enough, too angelic, or not specific enough. Watsy is Wizards of the Coast. Cosmic, when was that? When because like in third edition, 3.5, and Pathfinder all have basically race generation. Like, so you can create whatever you want. They have a whole system built for it. And that's worked really well in the past for people making like dog races and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they were talking about the one D&D, like, celestial animal race.
Oh yeah, that was hot garbage. Like that was the wishy-washiest of wishy-washy stuff. Like that was essentially just nothing.
Yeah, that's not bad because the concept was bad. That was bad because their implementation was half-ass and just it was bad. It was
What
just
if we make things super generic? It's like that's the opposite of what people want. It's the opposite of what people want. People want you to be very specific, i.e. Leonids over catfolk, which I hate. So who knows? Who knows? There's no right or wrong. It's all just different stuff.
Yeah. This isn't really a channel to like come to if you want like us trashing on.
Yeah, we try not to
everything.
grief on things.
I don't have enough energy to be that bitter for this long.
Yeah.
I spent most of my life just being bitter, so I come here to try to not be who I really am.
Let's talk about something happy. What has good happened lately?
Woodpecker hasn't come back in a little while, so that's nice.
Yeah. Drew is here with us drawing
Yeah,
after
Drew's
like
back.
a long hiatus.
The Ardling, that's what it was, yeah. Yeah, the Ardling was pretty boring. No, what's happening? Wake up. There we go. The headphones got stuck in my chair. I had a nice caramel iced tea, iced coffee. That sounds pretty good, actually. That sounds pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
caramel iced tea. Ooh.
Pick a genus, make it a person, give it an abilities, and make sense, and add variance. Yeah, I mean, so that's essentially what the race generator is. Like, you have so many allotted points for selecting your features. It's also, like, Pathfinder is essentially trying to break everything down into feats. So they give you more feats, but some of them have to be specifically for your ancestry, which I think is kind of cool. Which is the same thing that the race finder is doing. It's just giving you a set number of points. So
yeah. They're basically consolidating mechanics.
Yeah.
So instead of building a new mechanic where you have to keep track of a whole new different number, they basically said, you know what, we already have a feat system. We're just going to call everything feats, and you get this many as you level up.
So I like that for the simplicity of it, but I also am sad at how restrictive it is. Because in the old way, it was very much like things could be imbalanced. Kobolds were at like 8. And Drow were at like 40. It's like, so there's a big disparity of like who got what.
Drow nobles were literally at 40. I think normal Drow were only at what, like 23?
They were at 20, and then you could take the feats to get them eventually up to that, which is the other thing I like about the system, is that it has like heritage-based progression. So like as you level up, you get more of those feats, and I think that's great. Like you're specializing in who you are, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But like the problem that Chorus is having, some of them aren't robust enough yet to be able to really be. They're just stuck with what they are.
Yeah.
And kind of all you're doing is picking the order in which you specialize into it. So
yeah. I do think we will get to the point where second edition will be that robust, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah. You listen to the Dungeons and Daddies podcast? I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't actually listened to it. I got a new plant. I think it's happening. That's good. My D&D party is doing text-based RP during the week. They're enjoying the campaign so much. That's good to hear. That's really fun. I just don't want to play a system where I can reach into the ability pool to Frankenstein a character race. Why not? I think I'm fine with that.
Some people don't like that.
I think as long as you don't have to is the problem.
Yeah. If it's compulsory, that's problematic, I suppose.
Yeah. Which there are a lot of systems people are trying to create where they're trying to give people that, and I'm like, people, you need to have some base so people know what to start with. And that's something I run into a lot when people are making their own game systems. Is they're like, it's going to be completely customizable. It's like, that is too much for most people.
Yep.
You need a way to get people to be able to jump right in. So like, which is why humans are a good thing. It's like that's something people know, people understand. You grab it, you go, and you have fun with it. The way I usually build characters is by going, I have a concept, how do I build it with the D&D rules and systems and stuff? Yeah, like I'll play the same character in a few different systems. Like, the Polar Bear has gone through D&D and Pathfinder, so has my Dragoon. My Dragoon has gone through 5e, 3.5, 4th edition, and 5th edition, and Pathfinder. I haven't made him in 2nd edition yet, but I probably should.
Yeah, you absolutely should. There's a spell pretty much tailor-made for a Dragoon. It's Fire Dive, I think?
Yeah, I think I have seen that.
Dagon used it while you were gone. I was like, I wish Rick was there to see this.
Yeah, same. It's great. Jump up in the air, move an area, and then where you land, you do a Nova of Fire.
That sounds pretty cool. Yep, that's Dragonfire Dive. I like it.
Now you just need your Cherry Blossom slash thing that you do.
Man, I hate that move so much.
It just seems so out of place. I was like, why Cherry Blossoms?
This is my grief for the day. In Heavensward of Final Fantasy XIV, the Dragoons get a move. I think it's called Disembowel. It might be the upgraded version of Disembowel. But essentially, the move is you slash, do a 360, and then stab backwards. That looks cool. The problem is when you do that, cherry blossoms go everywhere, and the game goes ring, like with a harp noise. And it's every time I do the combo. So every 35 seconds, while I'm like exploding dragons and flying through the air, bring, bring. It's just, I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so
cherry
out
blossoms.
of place. It makes no sense. They're just like, Heavensward, yeah, let's get some cherry blossoms in here. It's like, no, I'm fighting a dragon. Stop it.
It's a JRPG. Everything has to be Japanese culture themed.
It's like,
So out of
Samurai has it, but like, it makes sense for the Samurai.
Yeah. I hate it with a passion. If
But yeah, it is very out of place.
If it wasn't like mandatory in my rotation, I would just never use it. You hear that, chat? Rook hates Japanese things. Actually, it's joining us like that.
At least when it comes to Dragoons.
I like being set roles and lanes between each race to feel unique. If something can just be a weird human, there's no point to playing D&D. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little... I feel like that's a little excessive for me. A little too excessive for me. Like, I'm fine with... I don't like it when things are homogenous, for sure. Like, once everything starts feeling the same, it's boring. So I definitely appreciate, like, things being unique. But at the same time, I don't think that's where D&D is at yet. There are definitely gripes I have, like, dark vision. Everything having dark vision. And everything being medium. But I feel like those are easily remedied by, this is a large creature. This creature has wings. Like, there's definitely, I don't think it's too bad. Homework is killing me. 2x raised to the second minus 4x plus 3 equals 2 to the square of x minus p plus q. You have 4 variables there, my friend. That is a quadratic equation that I do not want to solve right.
That's also like some sort of arcane formula to me.
It is the intersection of 2 lines, is what you're looking for. I believe. P1. Find the value of P and Q. Yeah. Make an array.
Mono was maybe not a good idea. That is a lot of fabric I have to figure out now.
I'm gonna add a cape because you said add fabric. And then I think I'll call it on this one. I need to give the arms a little more spots. Let's do that.
I'm making you draw clothes, Druid.
Yeah, you should be. I should have done the samurai armor.
It is.
I mean, I could have probably found something somewhat.
Oh yeah,
hydrodynamic.
Maybe.
If you were gonna go that route, I would have put into research for you. But you're like, nah, kimono will be fine.
Did you look at the image I found in my search that I posted? In my search
The
for
koi and the samurai hat.
yeah.
Or
That one's wearing a kimono, isn't it? Just off screen, I guess.
He's just up. Yeah, he definitely has some ceremonial garb on. I guess it's not proper armor, but he does kind of have Last Airbender pauldrons.
X squared minus X. Are you trying to find the point of a... sorry, math. I think what you're trying to find is you're trying to find the divergent range of a line, right? Like the points where it does this. Minus P squared and Q squared. That's the thing I always hated about math, was that, like, they give you this long equation, like, answer. It's like, what do you want me to answer? Do you want me to find X? Do you want me to solve, like, what this is doing? Find the value of P, Q, and X. Because if all you're trying to do is derive the one thing where they all work, that's one thing, but, like, that is just one point on a line.
I was always way better with word problems than with just strings of numbers equations, because my reading comprehension is way better than my math comprehension.
The only thing that puts me off about Pathfinder besides cost and availability of other players. Ooh, what are you talking about? Yeah, Pathfinder's free to play. Like everything is in the SRD. You can download pretty much everything.
Like you do not have to buy the books. It's all there.
Yeah.
Everything is available on Archives of Nethys for free, except for the modules.
Pass, yeah.
Except for modules, yeah.
But that's true for anything. Like, that's how all the companies make money.
Yeah.
Well, if I want all the books for the lore reasons, then you pay for them.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's not a cost you have to pay.
Yeah.
That's a cost you choose to pay.
Yep, that's a microtransaction.
They're about, the lore books for PDFs are about like $24 to $30, depending on the size.
The other thing about because like a lot of the lore books are smaller. I think I have the dragons and like the what's the other one I have? It's like the Inner Sea Gods. Inner Sea Gods is a full book, but like all the information in there is mostly on the websites. Like all the deities are in there. You just have to search for the deities, and then what you miss is some of the the flavor text, which is I really enjoy. But yeah,
All right.
Pathfinder's always been really accessible.
I'm gonna have to color this, not because it's you, Corvus. It's because this creature needs color in order to differentiate what's happening.
Found on the site.
Do what you need to do.
Okay, I'm gonna roll again. Here we go. 3. I'm rolling really low today. Undine Automaton. Man, I'm drawing water creatures today, apparently.
It is mermaid.
It is mermaid, fair. Alright. Undine Automaton, a giant insect barbarian. It's ancient deep sea construct that is possessed by a spirit. Alright.
So, what are those weird shrimps called? Praying mantis shrimps?
The mantis shrimps.
Yeah, mantis shrimps. Yeah.
Are the Undine any aquatic creature, or are they supposed to be elves? I thought they were underwater elves.
So Undine
they're
are the
water
genie.
elementals.
Yeah. They're water genasi.
Or should tip Blues for the work. I think everybody should tip for the work, but
Exactly.
It doesn't happen.
Someone tip me $5 so I can give it to Druid.
Don't do that. I have to pay the taxes on that. You guys send me money, and then I gotta pay them. Then it's a whole thing.
Then you really would become a business.
Yeah.
If people want to throw $60 at us, I'll buy Druid and Orvis Final Fantasy subscriptions. That's something I can gift. I can gift those. Write it off on my taxes as payment for stuff.
I feel like we'll be obliged to like stream that then.
That could be a fun, yeah. Let's get a monetization goal up here. If we can get $100 today, we'll do a Final Fantasy stream next week. I'll automatically volunteer Druid and Corvus's time.
Which, speaking of Final Fantasy, me and Burning did Leviathan last night.
Nice. How'd that go? I'm gonna guess awful.
We died the first time because one of the casters or healers did not get to the button in time because they were in the back and I was up in the front. So
that sounds like something that a ranger could also do.
I was not playing ranger.
You weren't playing your bard? Okay, then yeah, it wasn't your job.
I was samurai.
Undine are like water nymphs. Okay, I just gave this one a scuba helmet, so that's not right. Let's try this. Let's try this.
It's also an automaton.
That's the thing. Like it said Undine, and then it said automaton. So like, does it look like an Undine and is a robot? That's what I was thinking, or is it the other way around? Yeah. Is it just like the head of an Undine? Let's just do a Warforged Undine. That sounds pretty awesome.
Because I know when I was working on my automaton character, I was looking up like because it's a ancestry for second edition. It's like, how do they handle the variant thing? So I went skimming through the internet. And it's like, so you could technically be an Efreet or Tiefling automaton, but it doesn't affect your body. It just like the energy that fuels you is like
interesting.
That. So I was like, okay, seems like a cop out, but all right.
Can't justify paying a subscription service to play a game. Never got into Final Fantasy. That's fair. I have always looked at subscriptions on video games being has to be like the time I put into it. Like I've bought full-priced games and played them for like 10 hours. And I've bought games on sale and played them for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. So if I'm enjoying it more than I would enjoy like going to a movie, then that's cheaper. Right? Like I think a subscription for a video game is cheaper than going to the movies once. So I just have to I think about it that way.
Considering the length of all the cutscenes in Final Fantasy 14,
oh yeah,
you basically have like 5 movies to watch through.
I've been subscribed to that game for a year now. I used to play it a lot more back in the day, but like, so I guess I've given them like $100. But I've also put in like days of my life into that game. So who knows? I have 2.5 thousand hours on Warframe. Yeah, it just depends. Depends on what you're doing. Not all Undines are water nymphs at Legend, at least not Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Interesting. I'm still just gonna draw. I'm gonna draw a water robot. That's what I'm gonna do. Unless somebody wants to post a picture of an Undine in chat.
Well, because like in 2nd Edition, they're just water genasies.
Oh, straight up? I thought they were just like fey water spirits.
That would be just like the various water fey, like Nixies and stuff like that. But yeah, they're because like sylphs are a type of like air fairy.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
And so are not Undine, but Oreads, because they're also like from like Greek mythology nymphs.
Game I have the most time in would still be, no doubt, TF2, over 2,000 hours.
TF2? Team Fortress 2?
Yeah, I think so. My brother loves that game.
One of the answers
I
is
like
23 thirds. 23 thirds is not the proper way to write that. That would be 6 and... No, wait. Yeah, it would be 7.2. 7 and 2/3? 7.66? All of my experiences with Pathfinder have been negative so far, but I'm still willing to give it a shot. Interesting.
I'm sorry
hear
about
that,
that.
That's how it was with me at first. My only experience with Pathfinder was incredibly negative, so...
It is a much kind of crunchier game than 5e, so it is kind of harder to run.
Yeah. My case, it was just unpleasant players.
That's a thing.
Yep. Unfortunate.
Corvus, explain the automaton thing to me again. Not necessarily robots?
So they're robots.
Okay.
But they are like... So when I was reading up on them, they're like ancient robots, like from Atlantis, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
And some of them are like the souls of people put into them, and others are like just artificially like created souls that kind of run them.
Okay. I'm gonna do
They-
a merfolk here, then.
I think they still technically have to eat. No, they don't have to eat, but they can like suffocate, which is weird.
They asked for an improper fraction. Okay, well then, yeah, good job. All my experience with Pathfinder was great so far. D&D 5e, on the other hand, I could write a couple of horror stories about. Automatons and Pathfinder. Completely understandable. Due to the sizable player base of 5e, you're far more likely to interact with... I don't know what that is. What would be the best race for a Mega Man X-Zero like character? Automatons or androids? I mean, you could get away with any of them, really.
Yeah.
Like the
I don't know,
Warforged, you could do a Warforged one as well.
Yeah. I think I would personally choose the android.
Yeah, they're more human. Like,
But yeah, I honestly don't think it matters. And I think that is the strength, the greatest strength of Pathfinder is if you want to do something, there is no one prescribed way to do it. You've got enough options. You have any number of ways to build what you want to do. So you can literally do the research and figure out what makes you most excited or what you think fits best.
Mega Man universe are called Reploids, I think, right?
I have no idea.
It's been a while. But yeah, I think androids are a better way to look at it. The other thing you can always do is just go back and play older editions. Like, I think there's this weird stigma that like, oh, 5e is the better thing, you gotta do it. It's like, no, play 3.5. Like, people still play 3.5.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's nice. They made a new one because it just got bloated. Like, there was a lot of bloat to it. And they wanted something that was more accessible to people. So, if you're comfortable with 5th edition, you can probably handle 3.5 pretty easily. Just know you're gonna be in the weeds when it comes to like homebrewing stuff, because that's what it was intended for. It's like, yeah, here's all the rules to make whatever you want. Go and enjoy it. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday. Welcome, Jetpack.
Yeah, doing color on this was the right choice.
Should I give them a giant claw hand? That could be kind of cool. Is I the lobster monster? Isn't that also the strength of 5e? Say I were to ask you how to make a ninja? No, it's not. If you want to know how to make a ninja in 5e, I would tell you to play Pathfinder. Pathfinder ninjas are way better.
Depending on the type of ninja you want, though.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Like, if you want like anime ninja, 5th edition could.
Wait, what? We've talked about this because I keep trying to use the soul knife and it doesn't work. And you tell me to use something different.
Oh yeah, like go Shadow Monk.
But then you're a monk.
Monks and ninjas are the same thing.
No.
Argument. Ninja should be its own class.
Monks are based on Shaolin martial art movies.
So if you're saying the strength of 5e is that 3.5 exists, yes, like that's just D&D and tabletop RPGs. Like that's what I'm saying. A lot of people won't do that. They're like, it's not in 5e, it doesn't exist. And it's like, no, play all the other ones. Like, that's why tabletop RPGs are great. Just I use Pathfinder stuff in my D&D games all the time. I'm currently diving into AD&D 2e and liking it so far. Way less bloat than 3, so I don't feel like I had to do homework to play the game. Yeah, I think second edition had some issues because it was like the first way that they used armor instead of Thaco, so it had a little bit of growing pains with it. But 2e's great. Like I played 2e back in the day.
I still don't understand Thaco.
I mean, I can explain it to you if you want, but you don't need to. You don't need to know.
No, I will not retain it, and it probably will not be good for your channel.
No.
So
Thaco is essentially
skip it.
armor class, but backwards. Because
Oh.
they thought that's how it should work, and they're like, this would be way better if we did it the other way. And then they were like, yeah, it would. So, literally just outdated growing pains. Which made way more sense when there was only 3 sets of armor. It wasn't robust enough.
I've been thinking a little bit about mechanics that I kind of think maybe should be reversed. I've been wondering about HP, and I like, not for like D&D, but just in terms of TTRPG game design. I'm wondering what anybody here thinks about the idea of, instead of doing an HP system where you have your max and subtract as you take damage. What about having like an I guess not an injury score, but like a damage score, and instead of having to subtract, you count up in order to make the math easier and quicker.
And then when you heal, you have to subtract.
Yeah.
No, so it is the same. I do that for monsters because when everybody's throwing damage at me, 5 fire, 12 this, it's just like I just write that down, and when it equals their hit points, they die.
Yeah.
So if I know there's no healing involved, I do addition up to the hit points.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
But like,
I think you totally do that.
Still, in terms, even with healing, I know that it doesn't really negate the subtraction you have to do. I'm just thinking, generally speaking, you're calculating a lot more damage than healing. So
yeah, it fundamentally is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any reason not to do it that way, except for clarification, because then if somebody asks like, how many hit points do you have left, you have to do the math then, right? So
yeah.
I have 35 damage. It's like, that's not what I asked you. It's like, I have 35 damage. It's like, okay. So yeah, I think that's viable. I think it's totally viable. AD&D stands for Advanced D&D and AD&D instead of 2E, so people don't think I mean Pathfinder 2. Yeah, AD&D is just second edition, basically. It was just the second iteration of the D&D books. The books came out as Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. That was actually one of the first. The first time I played D&D, I had the only thing we had was the AD&D guide. That was all we had. It's like hit bonuses but reversed. Yeah. That is trying to overcomplicate something that's easy by default. It's easy by default because of where it is now. Partially because the way it worked was essentially you would roll the dice, and then if you rolled a 20, it would only hit somebody who had an armor class of 0. Like, it was all based around whether or not you were rolling a 20. Like, criticals didn't really exist per se. It was just like, that was the only way to do it, was to hit 20. So armor class was a negative thing. You wanted a lower armor class so that, yeah, it's just, it made sense when they did it, and then people started realizing it would be way easier if they did it the other way. So they did. I think that's the great thing about games, is they're like, hey, we're going to change the way this works because it'll be simpler.
Iteration happens, and sometimes it's for the better, and sometimes it's super not.
I've not had an issue with it so far, but it's also easy to convert into standard hit bonuses. And I see, yeah. TACO stands for the chance to hit. I don't think 2 hit is in there.
To hit armor class 0.
Thank you. Yeah, I just realized that. I was like, wait, that's wrong.
I was like, only reason I know that is because
the O
when
in
I was
TACO
watching,
is actually 0.
Yeah. Like Rookzer0.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I would have known that is when I was watching actually they had Matt on there, and one of the questions is describe THACO. And everyone just looked at him and was like,
yeah, okay, I got this.
Even he was like,
was Brendan Lee Mulligan there?
I don't remember.
I
He may have been.
Maybe. That's one of those things that I would have assumed that he would know.
Yeah.
Can I say I love actually as a game show concept? It's just delightful to me.
Do you dislike the idea that there aren't specific classes in 5e? Isn't part of the fun that they're finding out what classes features synergize together to produce a desired effect? I don't understand that question.
That is part of the fun, but when there are either so few options or the options are so not balanced with each other, then it basically becomes they're like there's no good reason not to pick the one class or the one build that everybody picks. And it's not that way in 5e for every class, but there's basically I've found that in 5e there are an extremely limited number of builds you can make that are fun, interesting, or viable. And I think Pathfinder has a lot more options.
I think some people want a class to fit a specific niche instead of having a mix and match. I don't mind either way personally. So meta is an issue. Why? Yeah, I don't know if it is an issue per se. I think maybe is multi-class allowed in your 5e tables? Yeah, I don't see why not. Do you like the idea that there aren't specific classes? Do you mean like there's not a specific healer class or like a tank class? Because like I could see some of the builds not specifically fitting into roles, but at the same time, I'm a DM that will let you run a non-healer campaign. Like it's just like yeah, you don't need it. So I tend to not. My friends always gear that way, anyways. They're like, "Oh no, I'm going to be the healer." It's like, great. I like being the healer. I really like being sport characters. So I don't usually have the issues, but I don't see why it should be a problem either way.
Yeah. To me, it sounds like they think people hate multiclassing. And I have mixed feelings about multiclassing. That's just me in general. It's like, play the full class. You don't need a multiclass.
What do you mean free archetypes on your PF2 tables? Is it allowed? I let people archetype. I suggest they do it. I really like it.
So in second edition, there's a feature of the game that you can be given a free archetype at level 1.
Oh, that's cool.
And means that when you get your class feats, you also get feats in that archetype as well.
Yeah.
Instead of sacrificing your class feats.
Oh,
to get that.
Okay.
We haven't played that way specifically because we haven't played that way specifically because I wanted to make sure we kind of knew roughly the game balance of the base gameplay.
So essentially what that's doing though is it's giving you an extra bonus feat every 4 levels. Or do you still have to sacrifice your class feature to get that archetype feat?
No.
Interesting.
But you have to meet the prerequisites for the class.
Sure.
So you can only take level 2 feats.
No, I have not been using free archetypes. I don't know if to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're also incredibly new to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, so...
We're not that new at this point. We have been kind of moving through kind of slowly, but you guys are on the cusp of moving into what I think is high level.
Definitely feels more like high fantasy play, which is awesome.
Yeah.
They also, because they had the rules for it on the Archives of Nessus, and I was reading them one day, and it's they recommend you take things that are not exactly combat-oriented archetypes, so linguist.
Yeah, because that would make a lot more sense for having a sub job or a secondary thing. To basically, that would fill in some of those places where all of a sudden you feel like this class is missing. A damage component, or this class is missing an out of damage component.
Yeah.
Every 2 levels. Interesting.
Yeah. And when you and they say if you do, your GM allows you to take a combat-oriented class, be aware that your GM will have to basically up the difficulty of all your encounters.
Yeah, like I said, that would definitely it would change the balance of the game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're essentially getting 2 free levels higher than you should be. Because you're gaining an extra feat every 2 levels.
Yeah. And some of those, if you're doing a multi-class archetype, you're getting some of those feats give you an extra feat from that class.
Wait, hold on a second. Back to the ninja. There's just straight up ninja in 2e, yeah. But in 5e, you could be a rogue, monk, fighter, wizard, bard, ranger, and artificer, and it would make sense. Oh, I guess 5e is just way simpler. It's that's the only thing I ever have with 5e is that there's not a lot of uniqueness to it. I could see rogue and monk, but you're not gonna feel super ninja except for unless you take the rogue feat is it a monk feat you said subclass?
Well, so there's Shadow Monk.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue Arcane Trickster could make a good ninja.
It may be. I don't think it's going to be as fun as the Pathfinder ninja for me anyways, because I like the shuriken flurry of stars kind of fighting, which is more monk. In Pathfinder it's a monk rogue combo. Because really the ninja is a hybrid class. And so fighter, I can see fighter, but you still need the rogue perks. Wizard has it has little aspects of the illusory magic, but I don't think it has anything else. Bard maybe doesn't have the combat prowess. Ranger, if you did the Shadow Stalker, yes, absolutely. But once again, you're using a bow, and I don't know if that's the kind of rogue you want to play. So I would do it a dagger ranger for that. Would be really fun.
Fighter and Wizard, I'm not sure if I agree with. Bard, you can make the argument for the College of Whispers Bard.
Yeah.
And or the College of Swords if you wanted more like.
And that's what I tried.
Oriented.
I tried that and I didn't like it very much. And then I tried Soul Knife and I didn't like that either. So those are the 2 times I tried in 5e.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that you can't build anything in 5e. I think that from my experience, it is generally more fulfilling to build what you want in Pathfinder.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little confused still, because the thing with 5e is that just like the content is very specified, which I think is why people always dip Warlock, because it's just like, how do I make this more powerful now, Warlock? Like,
yeah.
But with Pathfinder, like, you can say, I want to do this, and then find it. Like, you find that path. So, I don't know. I'm a little confused about the actual question and or statement that's being made. I don't change the balance of the game that much, actually. It barely changes the overall balance of a Pathfinder 2e because of the whole 3 action system. We've been playing without it, and we're like razor thin. Like, everything has felt pretty on the level. Like, we've not trounced anything yet, and we've almost died a few times. So I feel like if we did have the archetype thing, it would be a lot less dire. I feel like we would kind of coast a little bit more. So, I don't know.
Part of that might be my GM style, though, and the way that I have been adapting our gameplay for 5 players instead of 4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Since that's what a GM budget is usually, or an XP budget is usually designed for.
Dual commas and some bombs works wonders. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel ninja to me. I don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, like the accessory does not make the doesn't make a ninja, right? Yeah, like it doesn't make the class. A ninja is not a ninja because they wear this ninja specific face mask and carry throwing stars, right? A ninja feels like a ninja when it's got a class that specifically does ninja-y things, and I think that it's harder to build a ninja that's fulfilling to play in 5e. That's all.
Though that is a very realistic version of a ninja that they describe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like in real life.
What I want to play Naruto.
Yep.
I don't really want to play Naruto.
I do, 100%.
I hate shurikens, though.
Oh, shuriken's so good. Shurikens, shadow clones, so much fun. So much fun.
They're a useless weapon. Even when you get Flurry of Stars, it's just, sure, you get to roll all the dice, but it's like,
you get to sneak attack every single time.
Yeah. The shuriken may deal pittance, but it's you do care when in one turn you get to roll 10d6.
It's so many more dice.
It's so many more dice. And because it's so, like, I know it's smaller dice, but because it is so many more dice, like, your minimum damage is so much higher.
I once did this build. I did my Flurry of Stars build for a Pathfinder game, but what was I? Was that a kobold? I might have been a goblin. I think I was a goblin. I was a small goblin, a very small goblin, so I only did 1 damage with my shurikens. And so I'm just like, I'm throwing 8 shurikens, so there's 8 damage. And then I would grab, like, and now here's the 20d6 sneak attack damage. It was awesome.
Which, to be fair, in 2nd edition Pathfinder, you can't get that much sneak attack damage anymore.
No.
I think Rogue. I'm not sure exactly how much the combined classes with Rogue get for sneak attack, but I think Rogue only gets. I think it's either 5 or 6.
Yeah, but it's only once per round or 2, which I hate. That's my.
Is it?
Yeah. In 5th edition. Sorry, what you're talking about? 2nd edition?
I'm talking about 2nd edition.
Yeah, no, it is. I think they reduced the sneak attack because you can amplify the dice on your weapons now passively.
Yeah,
So it kind of works out. My argument is that 5th edition kind of just lets you make the classes that don't exist. If your goal is to roleplay, almost anything can work as long as you understand the system. That's true for every class.
Yeah.
Like every game system. 5e is not unique in that way. 5e is unique in the fact that they basically removed a lot of the mechanics that would do that for you, so you have to RP it. 5e is hyper simplified, but modular. Like, yeah, you can basically just homebrew anything because there's nothing stopping you. So it's but you can do that in Pathfinder too. You just Pathfinder has more rules set up already, so you have to make less up. 3.5 dart thrower would like to know your location. It's true in 2nd edition. Yeah, it's actually even easier to do there. And that's the thing that I always bump into when people are like, especially with 5th edition, people are like, okay, so here's my homebrew. I'm like, that already exists. I'm not trying to be like a dick to them. It's just like, if you look at the 3.5 or the Pathfinder stuff, all of those things did exist in older systems. And 5th edition removed them specifically to keep the game simple. So it's 5e. Yeah, absolutely. You can make anything you want, but they already did. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you're looking for something. I would just highly suggest people go look at 3.5 because they did. It was so robust that they just removed all of it for simplicity's sake. So
good.
I mean, some people really like that. Some people want that, all of that garbage out of the way, but it does leave a lot of people that are scared to homebrew or think that homebrew's wrong that complain about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of multi-classing in 2e, but people usually don't do that because that would be something to put the game off balance. Unlike the archetype system, even with the free arch system. Yeah, the way I looked at it is like you don't have to multi-class anymore because the archetype system is there.
Yeah.
But
and I'm getting to the point where I think I'm comfortable starting to homebrew 2nd edition. My one of the people we play with, my good friend, has a rogue character we wanted to port over from a 1st edition Pathfinder game, but like the way rogue works in 2nd edition was extremely different from the way it works in 1st edition. So basically I ended up homebrewing our own kind of unique racket for that character, and it is a little bit strong. It's a little unbalanced, but kind of specifically designed to be that way because our 1st edition game was a little bit wild in terms of the fantasy level, and so I specifically built the racket to kind of adjust for that. So I think that it's probably easier to homebrew stuff for 5e and make it more balanced, but I think that with enough experience you can do it in 2nd edition as well. And I think that 1st edition Pathfinder, I can't speak to 3.5 or any of the older editions because I haven't played them or really looked at them. But Pathfinder 1st edition, like there's so many, it's so modular, and there are so many like published accessible templates that it's really, really, really easy to build your own stuff.
You say robust and I say bloated in respect to 3.5. I think both are valid. Both are valid. I mean, the reason that 3.5 is not
mutually
played,
exclusive.
Not mutually exclusive, is because of the bloat. Like, it was too much. There was just too much content for it, especially with all the third party as well. So, but they're like, if you're taking from it, it's a great repository for stuff that's already been worked out.
Yeah.
So,
and it does translate fairly well.
Yeah, I prefer being able to use a raw mechanical system. System mechanics raw to be creative rather than the devs doing the thinking for me. Okay. Homebrew is needed in 5e for the game to work. That's kind of my feeling. Like, the game can be totally fine, and I think it's a great introductory system because it has nothing in it. And then you can teach somebody how to play a level 1 fighter so fast. And then basically they just get to keep growing and growing and wanting more until they're like, hey, I want to do this. And it's like, you know what? Pathfinder has that. And then that's when we switch to Pathfinder. So,
yeah. And I tend to agree with that take as things are. Like, I kind of wish that I hadn't learned on Pathfinder. We didn't have 5th edition yet when I started, but obviously, but like I think I probably would have enjoyed the beginning or the first game I ever played better if it had been 5th edition.
My first game of Advanced D&D ended in a fist fight.
Oh no!
I mean, it was a fist fight between like 10-year-olds, so who cares? But like, but yeah.
My mom would have cared.
Yeah, just was a lot of screaming. And then I played some 4th edition in college, and it was just like this is hot garbage. And so we went back to 3.5, and we did that for a while, and then eventually 5e came out after we'd played Pathfinder for like 2 years, and we were like, let's try this. You want mechanic, raw, to be creative. You want the devs to do the thinking for you somehow. Yeah, I'm a little confused there too, so I think I'm just gonna kind of move past it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just.
I also kind of moved past it because I feel like Pathfinder doesn't do all of the thinking for you. I feel like 5e does more thinking for you, and 5e just gives you more tools.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sorry, Pathfinder.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say. I was like, I'm not
sorry. Pathfinder gives you more tools, and 5e does more thinking for you. Is my opinion.
In my mind, 5e is the most restrictive raw. It just is. Rules is written. 5e is hyper restrictive, which is good for what it is.
Yes.
And then as soon as you are ready to start homebrewing, you can. And that's true for all game systems, tabletop RPGs. I think homebrewing is amazing. And a huge part of the game. But if you need something to be restrictive because you just want like, here's a book, let's learn how to play this, 5e is great for that because it is the most restrictive. Like that is its boon that I really like. But man, 2 or 3 sessions in, you just throw that book out the window. You just chuck it. Start doing whatever the hell you want. I think I'm about done for the day. I think my brain's about scrambled. Yeah. It's 2 o'clock. We did pretty good today. We still have quite a few, but unfortunately, I do not have the time to do them today. I'm going to go work on some other projects. Friday, I will be out of town, so I will not be around for the viewer suggestion again. Sorry about that. Next week, we'll come back and we'll do both days. I have to work on a personal project this afternoon. Then I'm going to try to work on a video. I might be able to get the video done by Friday. I doubt it, but here's hoping. We'll find out. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. Thanks for the good discussions. Thanks for being cordial to each other. I appreciate that. We got a little deep divey, but we didn't get mean or spirited, which is good. I very much appreciate that. That's all I got. I don't have anything else. Anything to add?
Nope.
Okay.
Play what you want to play, people.
Play what you want to play, people. Yeah. Just because someone doesn't like something doesn't mean you shouldn't like it.
Yeah. The fact that I like Pathfinder better than 5e doesn't mean that you can't like 5e more.
Yep.
That's fine.
That's all I got. So check out some of the other videos. We did release the new video last Saturday, I believe. So if you haven't seen the banning flying players video, go watch that. Put a comment on it. Thumbs it up. That's all I got. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Keep your dice on the table. I will post all of these in the Discord for any of these that got drawn if you want to use them for your home games. They will be available there. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye. Okay.
I feel bad for liking 5th edition, guys. I'm sorry.
Nothing wrong with 5th edition. It's just great.
I was like,